Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the fourth episode of the HaloRuns podcast. Uh, Unfortunately, we were going to have Harc here for another runner interview, but he hasn't responded, so last minute
Yeah,
we had to make a decision on what to do, and yeah, so we're going to have fun creating a tier list of the speedrun levels of Halo. Unfortunately, I don't have Halo Infinite. This is just a standard create a Halo campaign levels tier list, which will be on screen here.
yeah. We,
Yeah.
we don't know where Hark is, but he hasn't responded. So this is just kind of last minute. I guess if you have any suggestions for topics and stuff, you can throw them in chat as well, like always as well.
Yep. So yeah, I guess let's get started. Yeah. So
Like
I don't know how we want to do a levels tier list of sorts.
we'll just go like level by level, right? Just
Yeah,
whatever shows up first.
and say like what would you base it on in terms of how
Um.
we'll rate them?
Oh, I guess just enjoyment, like how fun it is to speedrun, right?
Okay, we could do that. So
Or
just
how
general
what
how
were you
much we
thinking?
like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's important like criteria because you could say how about the most difficult levels? Like do you want to do one on those or doing
Oh
it
yeah,
on
yeah,
like
yeah.
just speedrun specific or how much you want to like
Mm, mm.
speedrun versus like
Yeah,
casual
yeah,
play
casual.
enjoyment.
Yeah, I think we should keep it simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because if we're talking difficulty, then it comes into play: is it legendary, is it easy, or
Is it
like,
IL
yeah,
strats and stuff?
yeah, and like taking like too many things into account, it gets too weird. I
Yeah.
think. I think just like how much we enjoy it, speedrunning it is good, and we both like played all of these levels, or like
Yeah.
we both speedrun all of these levels, so.
Yeah.
This is
So
this is
this
actually
is
going to be the definitive tier list. Like we have like the say here. Like you guys can't question it because
yeah.
we
We're the
we're the
only
only
ones
ones
that
who
have
know.
ran all of these games. It would have been really nice actually to have Harc because he also
Sure.
would be pretty good for this, but this is pretty solid. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think we'll just base it off how much we enjoy speedrunning it. Yeah. We'll
Yeah.
just go in order. So first level here is the Pillar of Autumn.
Oh yeah.
Uh
It's gonna be all. Is it ordered from games? It's gonna be like C then Reach and everything.
yeah, so we'll start with CE and then it goes all the way to Halo 5. Unfortunately, we don't have Halo Infinite, but we could probably just say Halo Infinite on its own
Hmm.
where you would place it.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
But yeah,
TOA.
speedrunning wise.
Yeah, you put it in
TOA.
C tier. I think C tier might be appropriate, honestly. Like if it
yeah.
was before Stair Skip, it might be a D for me.
Yeah, steer skip like makes it more enjoyable even though it's a lot more difficult. I just think it takes away from the boring running through hallways
Yeah,
shooting. It's like
yeah.
it also being the first level is not a good thing either
Oh,
because generally
okay.
first like I think first levels generally have a bad rep just because you play them all the time in full game runs. So it's
Well,
hard to say for that.
should we?
Wide arrive.
Hark, you are late.
Hello.
Hello. Uh,
I
yes. I need to do some setup then.
Well,
Where
are
are
we
you?
changing it then, or should we do the tier list first anyway?
Yeah, I guess why not?
You
Hello,
want to join
Hark.
in for that tier list, Hark?
sure. Yeah, sorry about that. I may have slept in a little bit.
Okay.
No
Yeah.
worries.
Yeah. Give me a second to get the scene set up. Uh. Yeah, I guess you could just give your input on what you think of POA Hark while I am at it.
Um, I
C
think
is
I think C tier is pretty all right.
Yeah. C is probably like your least played game, right? I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. For Chronos, it's well, actually, Halo 4 might be less played for me.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Let's quickly go through these then. I
Yeah,
don't
that was
know.
just an April Fool's joke, actually. The whole Harc being late thing. This is all an elaborate April Fool's joke, actually. You got played.
Okay, there's Harc on screen now. Yep.
There he is.
Oh.
Should we do like? Well, we can continue with the tier list, but we should do like an introduction first, I guess. Do you want to introduce yourself, Harc? Who are you? Who is this guy?
My name is Harc. I'm a speedrunner that, joined the scene around 2016. And ever since, I've kind of been known for finding lots of tricks and implementing tricks into speedruns.
Yeah, just in case you can't see, I put up Harc's runner profile on screen now.
Yeah.
It's hard to see.
And most recently, you've been doing a lot of Halo 4, right? But what did it start with? Which game?
Halo 3. It started with Floodgate because I watched some runs from Alien Flow, and I was like, you know what? That level looks really cool. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, Alien Flow's Floodgate times back in the day, like before you took the record, were those are some like legendary times for sure. That like set the standard. Alien Flow really set the standard for Floodgate. Like he was pretty ahead of his time, I would say.
Yeah.
Would you say that too?
Yeah, I definitely would. Alien Flow and Rorson definitely were really good at that level.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of what got you into DC launching as well, right? Or DC tricks in general. Because you were like forced to get really good at DC launching, right?
Sort of. It was actually split between the Floodgate run and I recently at that time had joined Tenacious Trigosity and we were trying to clip into some rooms and no one in the group was good at deployable cover launches. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do my best here to get good at deployable cover launches so that I can be the dedicated, group DC clipper. So the two
Nice.
kind of overlapped, and I got, it took me about 3 months, but I think I got extremely good at DC launches compared to I think everyone else at the time.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
Yeah, Chronos, how do you want to do this? Do you want to do the tier list, or should we just go planned? Or how do you want to do it, Harc, as well? I'm not really sure.
Well, since you guys were in the middle of the tier list, I mean, I guess you can go ahead and go back to that.
Okay, yeah, let's go back to the tier list then. Give me a second. Here we go. Okay, so yeah, next we'll just do all of these. So next level is Halo. I would put it in D personally. D.
Yeah.
Like
honestly, maybe even E for me.
Yeah. The main issue is Halo is such a bland level. It doesn't really have any cool tricks. The only trick is like the drop skip, which is just lining up grenades and throwing them.
Yeah. It's like barely a trick.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure like you could like I now that I think more about it, it's like E because playing Halo after getting out of POA, like just for full game runs, it adds like it makes the early game of Halo CE really bad.
Yeah, and even if you're just doing ILs, it's like it's a minute of walking before you even get to anything as well.
Yeah.
So yes. It's definitely not F tier though. Like it's not.
Mhm.
It has some qualities. that are
Like I
interesting.
do enjoy like the end combat, for instance. Like the end combat is a lot
True.
of
Yeah.
fun, but
True.
it's like just overall as a level, it doesn't really have anything good.
Yeah.
Okay,
All
so
right.
next
Moving
level
on.
is TNR, and I would honestly put it
Honestly,
like at S tier personally.
yeah.
It is like one of the best levels just because of the number of tricks, the combat. It's like a lot of everything you could want for a speedrun.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what would put it. I'm trying to go through the level in my brain. See, is there anything I don't like? But honestly, I think I'd have to agree with that S tier. It's definitely the best CE level.
Yeah, I would definitely say that as well. Wraith clip kind of bad. I mean, belly
I
skip
think
can be difficult.
I
But
think my love for CE in general, though, maybe it's not as quite as high as you. So like thinking about comparing it to other Halo game, like the levels I like in other Halo games, it might put it a bit lower for me.
yeah,
But in terms of a CE level, it's definitely S tier.
yeah.
But we'll
Harc,
go
do you
with
have
S, I
any
think.
thoughts on any CE levels? I know it's probably not your strong suit, but
The only thing I can say for sure is 343 is definitely S tier for me.
we'll get there
We
when
can
we get
talk
there.
about it, yeah.
Because I know Hark hasn't done runs of all the CE levels, just I believe 343 and Keys are his two. And a bit of Maw actually.
True, Wraith Clip is kind of annoying. I think if I was doing this series myself, I would put an A, but Chronos gets the
Yeah, I have control.
yeah.
Okay, SC. Uh, so for me, my personal bias is S, but that's just me.
I
I'm,
would say honestly,
but I
this
would
might
put
be
it
like
at
sacrilegious. I would put it in C,
ooh, C.
probably. Yeah,
Like, I can understand why.
C
For
kind of mid. I'm a
because uh, I'm biased because I really enjoy the level personally, but uh, when you think about it, you have the entire cutscene, the beach walk, and that's like half of the time you're spending on the
yeah.
level is that.
Like the thing is, like we got the beach walk, the driving section isn't that interesting, and the cutscene, and the wait at the end. So that's what most of the level is. But then you have the tricks, right? And the tricks are what most people like. Here's the thing though, like the tricks kind of suck. Like they don't suck, but they look cool, but they're not like that fun to do. It's just like, oh, stick stack didn't work. Unlucky. Try it again.
Yeah, honestly, I would agree with you that it would probably be down in C, like just based off of everything of the level, yeah. But
Yeah.
it's just that one section right in the middle
Yeah.
where you have all the tricks like in a snap, like 1 minute. It's like
Yeah.
insane.
I do like the warthog fling into like the drop down. Like that's always fun to do. I think the way up, even though it looks cooler, is probably like less interesting to me almost
Yeah.
because it can be so
I
stupid
think
sometimes.
I think B tier would
Yeah,
definitely fit SC a little better because definitely from a viewer perspective, SC is incredibly
yeah.
fun to watch.
Yeah.
Mm,
I guess overall, yeah, we could stick it in B.
sounds good.
AOTCR. So this level, uh,
Um,
honestly, B. I think it's a B as well. Just
I
because,
I think I agree with that honestly. AOTCR is kind of fun. It's like really basic, but it's still fun actually.
yeah. Like, I like the tricks. You have Banshee teleports, you have Banshee grab, you have bridge fall, you have
Yeah,
like a lot of tricks. You have Banshee fireworks too, which makes the
yeah,
level like there's a lot of tricks in the level, and I
yeah.
think that's pretty cool.
I will say I definitely like it a lot more easy than legendary because banshee flying is kind of boring.
I mean, you still have Banshee flying on easy with fireworks now.
Oh yeah,
So-
well, true, but I don't do that. I just ghost drive. The ghost driving is fun.
Yeah, the ghost driving's fun. It's just a lot of downtime though, similar, just because of the long driving sequence.
I would say C or B for me.
Yeah. I think watching wise too, the only fun part to watch is the Banshee grab. It's like, oh my god, you can manipulate
that's a
the
clincher.
AI. So, yeah. I'd say B. I think it's better than Pillar of Autumn for sure, so I think this is a good benchmark level to start with. And then 343 here is next.
Harc, what do you have to say about this one, Harc?
At least A. It's so good.
I think I'd agree. I like 343. It's definitely better than SE and AOTCR for me.
Yeah.
I
think it's pretty good too. But
I remember when I was grinding a 343 so much.
Yeah.
And I actually managed to tilt Garrus Goblin at me because it was like, why do you only play IO? It's so annoying. Just full game. We're yellow.
Really?
Yeah.
But yeah, like honestly, what makes 343 really good is you do have like it's very movement based. So lots of like intricate movement things. You have some tricks as well. For instance, RSS is pretty cool. Like honestly, it's a really cool trick for CE, even though it's pretty bad. If like,
yeah, I think
reveal skip in general is really nice.
Yeah, it has some good tricks and some like, but I think what really does it for me is like the movement on 343 is like way better than almost every other CE level. Like it has like, I don't know, it just has a lot of small intricacies to it that most of the other CE levels don't have. Like you're turning around a lot of corners. You got like precise jumps like Camo Jumo. You got some nade jumps. It's just like consistently good, I think.
Yeah, there's like not a single section where you're like not doing anything for like a long period of time. So that's why I think 343 is pretty solid as well. Like all the nade jumps, you actually have the most nade jumps I think in 343 of any level. Is it? There's probably, like so many.
Yeah, especially if you do like the extra ones that like Burnt does in the IO and stuff.
Yeah.
And like I guess
and shade launches. The shade launches are pretty cool too. So yeah, overall,
I will say the
really
ending
solid.
is a bit it's not great.
Yeah,
probably the weakest part of the level for me.
Yeah. Okay. Next is library. Okay.
I don't mind library that much. Personally, like I've never like had to reset for RNG because I'm not like that good of a CE runner. But I think most people like enjoy it apart from the RNG. I say C tier.
Yeah, I'd also agree.
Maybe even B. Like it's kind of fun. Just
like it definitely depends on what you enjoy in a level. Like library's combat, I think, is kind of interesting because you have to be accurate with using your shotgun and pistol at the right times and making sure you're going around corners properly. And I think light bump in general was a really nice trick.
Light bump is like my favorite CE trick, actually.
Yeah.
I love
like
light bump.
The biggest downside for sure is like the RNG. Like there's a lot of RNG, which honestly, if there weren't any RNG in the level, I would put it at B. But just because of just the annoying things where you have to get good RNG sometimes, especially at the high end or high level, it's like if you don't get a good library, your run's dead.
Yeah, so, I think C is pretty fair. What do you think, Harc?
My initial thought was going to be D tier, but I guess an argument could be made for C tier.
Yeah, well, we got a B, we got a C, we got a D. We'll take the average, maybe.
Yeah. Okay, 2 betrayals. Ooh, this is a juicy one because there's a lot of opinions for this, I think.
Well, as the best TV player, I have the
former world record holder.
Yeah. No. Serious notes. I'm not a huge Bull fan. I think I would enjoy Bull more if I like have done it more though.
Yeah. It is very different of a level, I think. That's why it is hard to rate.
Pre-Bull, I definitely would have put it in A, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would be like a high A for me. Like I really enjoyed it pre-Bull. Bull maybe takes it down to a B for me. I'm not sure. B or a low A.
Yeah. I would say around there as well. Like, there's a couple reasons why. I believe Two Betrayals now is probably the most driving oriented level in any of the Halo games, because the amount of precision driving you have to do with timing and everything is so intricate in that level. So if you really enjoy like strict driving where you have to be very precise, it's probably I would, really insane.
Yeah, that is true, but just because of Salvo, the fact that literally the entire level is driving, probably more.
Yeah,
because Bull has other things too.
Yeah. The
but
good thing
the driving
is
in T-Beam is probably more like precise though than Salvo.
I do think that what is it? There are like the fact that there's basically no RNG as well in Bool versus there being some RNG and no Bool with like Rocket Flood and everything.
I mean there's a
lot of random factors.
There's still bottomless or whatever. Yeah. Wait, is that what it's called? No deload, I mean.
No deload. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's a big difference on Legendary for that starting sequence, but yeah, I guess B is fine.
Should we put it high B? Like usually people do like
the
further left it is, the better.
Yeah.
I was gonna say S tier.
Ooh.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
I mean, Harc is the trick kind of guy, the trick and movement guy.
True.
So these are your kinds of levels. You don't like the super combat oriented levels, I think, as much. Yeah.
Harc, give us a good pitch for moving it up to A then.
It has a trick that, in my opinion, I think it's probably the most unique trick in the entirety of the Halo series. With regards to, flying out of bounds, hitting BSP triggers from out of bounds, and then hitting, a sequence of how many triggers is it? Like 50?
It's like 30 or something, yeah.
Like 30 triggers out of bounds. I don't know. It's there's not another Halo level like it. Like the closest one I could think of is maybe the ending of Requiem on Halo 4, but even that is like you're hitting like 2 triggers out of bounds, whereas with this, like you're doing the entire sequence of the map from out of bounds. I love it.
I mean, I was thinking the closest would be a Coastal Highway with that out of bounds, yeah. Even then, that like Coastal Highway, the driving there is not as strict.
Yeah, and it's different when you're like, because Bull, you're just flying through the void, right? It's like a bit different when you're coastal.
I do see why you could put it at A, but it's hard. It's very close in between the two. So
yeah. If it was just CE, I'd probably be fine with putting it in A.
Yeah, but in terms of
we need room level, for we need room for other games too.
Yeah. Okay.
It's definitely close.
Keys.
I don't mind Keys. It's kind of bland, but it's not terrible. Like there's not much good about it, but there's not much bad about it either, right?
Yeah. In terms of just play, like I feel like Keys is just a nothing level. Like if you were to put it in terms of just a filler kind of level, the Keys is like a filler level where you can't lose your run to it like 99% of the time unless you're really bad and choke like the Keys bump, which you can really easily do, but you know, Keys
Yeah, I
is
think
just unremarkable.
I think
overall.
D's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Maw. Honestly, I would put Maw high at A, personally.
Yeah. I'd put it a bit above 343.
Above
It's
343? Yeah.
like high is very high. Maw is very high tier for me as well.
Yeah, I guess Maw has a lot more into it. You have the rocket jumps and everything, and the Maw
The out of
driving
bounds
sequence is
movements.
like insane. I love the Maw driving sequence. It's probably one of the best driving parts of the game.
The Maw out of bounds sequence is like so fun to do.
Yeah, Maw platforming is insane. So
It's one of
I
the
do
levels
think it's
you've
definitely
grinded
high
as
up
well,
there.
right, Harc?
I wouldn't say grind, but I did play a little bit of it,
Yeah,
and
I remember
I
you
think I
doing
agree with
the
A.
Maw teleport with a controller, which is insane because it normally doesn't do that well on controller, but Harc the Madman did some runs with it on controller, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, this is CE. Just pretty
I'd say that's a
solid.
pretty good CE list.
Yeah. So now I guess we can move on to Halo 2.
Yeah,
Can
dude, this
immediately
could
put
take a while.
yeah,
Should we go a bit faster?
yeah.
I don't even think we need to talk about armory. It's perfect where it is.
The F tier
we
is
can
good.
go faster. I think we discussed a lot.
Yeah,
Cairo, like for just levels that
Cairo is A for me easily. Personally.
yeah. Basically, I think we'll have a longer discussion if we disagree. So anything like anyone doesn't agree on, we could probably discuss more. But I think we can agree Cairo's an A. Just solid combat overall and lots of swordplay shenanigans. Why is this not in order? Gravemine's next on
That'd be
this.
hilarious.
Gravemind, I think S. S or high A.
Yes.
Yeah.
S
I
or
guess,
high A. It's
Gravemind used to be probably a C for me, but with the strat where you can actually slow your descents to catch up to a brute that's like higher above you.
Oh yeah,
that's
dude, I haven't
now
even
S tier.
I haven't even done runs with that yet, but like just
yeah,
thinking
the
about
new
it just makes me want to play it actually.
Yeah, there's new tech for Gravemind which eliminates the prison skip RNG now, basically.
Yeah, most of it.
So yeah, I would put Gravemind high up there. It's super good movement level and lots of combat if you like it.
It's basically like the level that like defines the Halo 2 speedrun, I would say.
Yeah.
You're just like
Uprising.
B. Definitely B. It's pretty fun, but it's definitely something where it can get bland after you've seen it. You know, like 50 times.
Uprising is just too short. I think.
it's a pretty good IL level, but
overall it's
only on classic because H2 has butterfly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say high B for
B.
me.
High charity.
C?
I think it's higher than C. I think it's a B for me.
Ooh.
High charity skip is let's be honest, like high charity skip. I don't think it's boring. I think it's pretty interesting to do.
Yeah.
And it's I mean it's arguably as unique as Boo. Almost. I mean, I guess not because Regret and
Uprising
have it too now. I'm just like
High Charity
boomer.
was the OG. It was the
Mm-hmm.
OG butterfly level. So yeah.
Just viewership wise, it's like absolutely insane to see someone do it.
Just the fact that like as a viewer, if you've never seen a Halo 2 speedrun before, you basically understand nothing. Like you just hump a flood for like a minute and then the level ends.
Yeah. And it's like, also pretty high skill ceiling wise because even though it looks simple sometimes it is pretty difficult.
Yeah.
Lots of shenanigans. Great Journey. Personally, I love Great Journey, but
don't.
Yeah.
I would put it. I would go as low as D. I think.
D. Oh.
I think Great Journey is pretty bad. It's okay as an IL, maybe. It's yeah. But oh my god, it's so bad in full game. I really hate Great Journey in full game, especially on easy. On legendary, it's not as bad.
So Great Journey has Ghost Hijack, which can sometimes be very finicky.
Yeah.
I don't mind the race clear that much. It's pretty consistent if you know what you're doing. Gap jump. Gap
on
jump,
MCC,
terrible.
gap jump is ass.
And then you have the 2.5 minute auto scroller at the end, waiting for the scarab to get to its spot.
Yeah.
So honestly, yeah, D tier. Honestly, I'd say D tier is too good for it.
Understandable. Personally, I would put it on A tier, but that's me liking the level a lot.
Should we do bump
as
it
an
up to C
IO.
then for Chronos?
Sure.
I guess it's only
Yeah.
fair.
I don't. Yeah. Outskirts. Ooh.
I just hate. I don't mind Outskirts that much as an IL, but I hate what it does to full game.
Yeah, like it is basically an auto scroller level in full game where you're just driving for 2-3 minutes. I don't know.
Which by the way, which would be pretty fine if it was late in the run, but the fact that it's the second level,
yeah,
it's
If we were
the driving's
rating
not
co-op,
interesting too.
if we were rating co-op, I would put it S plus tier, 100%. It's a solo.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
when you
D
have like what is it, AUP,
Yeah.
and stuff, it makes it pretty cool. But with just solo, the only interesting thing is the movement at the start for ILs, but that's basically it. Okay, Metro.
I would put it lower than Outskirts.
Yeah.
So I think D is fair.
I think
Or
that's
E,
fair.
maybe even E.
Maybe. Yeah. Like, Metro has an issue, especially on Legendary, of killing runs with sniper jackals that you can't really do much
Yeah.
about. And it is pretty much just like the start is driving again.
Yeah, like it's the same as Outskirts. It ruins full game Halo 2 runs, and even as an IO, it's 2 minutes of driving in a straight line, or
Yeah.
1 minute if you're doing the bump.
Yeah, the phantom bump. And even the phantom bump is probably one of the most cancer tricks to like grind for. Because think about it, you're driving for like a minute down, and then you have to do one jump into the phantom in order to get a good launch. And you just repeat that. It doesn't.
Yeah, I think E tier is pretty fair.
Arbiter.
It fits with Halo.
Yeah.
A.
I'd say B for Arbiter.
I would personally give it A as well.
I don't like the auto scroller at the start.
Yeah, I guess that's a D.
Or like the first minute is really boring.
Yeah, it's just like once you get inside though, then you have all the sword cancels, which I think are really cool.
I really like the hanger clear too.
Yeah.
Which you don't do in ILs anymore. But still.
I like the skip.
The skip.
Love the skip.
The hanger skip, yeah. I think it's really cool as well, hanger skip. It's like unique. You don't see much of those kinds of tricks in Halo 2.
Yeah.
And you have like glass clip and everything. I think overall it's pretty solid.
Yeah, I think A is fair.
Okay, Oracle.
Good level. Oracle. As a full game, I don't know. It's one of those levels where it would be so good if it didn't have the elevator
and didn't have like it's
like if you ever played Oracle Speed Mod is like maybe even S tier.
Yeah.
But maybe C.
I'd put D
or B.
Yeah,
I'd say high C for me.
C. Yeah. Basically, Oracle is like really cool. It's just the auto scrollers really kill it since there's so many Delta, Halo.
For me.
Yeah, I'd say B as well.
B. Personally, I don't like Delta Halo because I suck at it, but
Actually, I would put it in A, I think.
A?
I love Delta Halo is my favorite Halo 2 IO, I think.
Ooh.
In full game, I'm not as interested in it because it's kind of a nothing level in full game. But the IO is so fun. See,
Makes
chat
sense.
agrees with me.
Yeah.
Chat is saying A.
Yeah, I even suck at Delta, but I like Delta.
Yeah, they're like Delta is very movement based, so that's like a big plus. If you enjoy movement, it's big movement level. So yeah, lots of driving too. That is like not. It's more difficult than like outskirts driving, which is so boring.
Yeah.
Okay, regrets.
This
is hard.
C.
A lot of people like regrets. I don't like it that much.
On easy, you have the really terrible butterflies. On ledge, you have regret fight. I think C tier. Regret is one of those levels that like it just destroys full game runs on ledge because it's just that end fight is just something else. There's no
regret
way
is
to deal with it.
Regret is I don't mind the end fight that much personally, but Regret is one of those levels that's similar to Oracle for me, where the stuff in between the autoscrollers is pretty fun. But I hate the flow of Regret. It's like you do something for 20 seconds and then you wait 2 minutes and then
Yeah, it's
do
like
a
on
30
and off.
second.
It's like the same issue with Oracle, basically, except regret is yeah.
Yeah, I think C is fair.
Yeah, same with Oracle, basically. Sacred Icon.
B. B. I like Sacred Icon.
Really?
Yeah. I like SI. What about you, Harc?
I'd say D.
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 The movement is pretty consistent, but the end fight is just the end fight
has so much skill though. Come on.
Yes, but it also has a decent amount of RNG, which can cost you up to 20 seconds. So, I mean, the movement is like it's not too interesting outside of I guess the little launches in the first section. Everything else is just like hold forward and do some shoddy. I don't know.
I personally don't like SI because everything feels like the same. You're just holding W. It's like a very whole W level. That's my opinion.
Well, you're not doing enough movements tricks then. No, I don't know. If you guys think it's D, and I B, yeah, I'm happy with it being C then.
Yeah. QZ.
Definitely.
QZ is pretty mid for me.
Mid.
If there wasn't the 5-minute auto scroller at the end, maybe higher, but I definitely would say D because you do 2 minutes of driving and then you're followed by 5 minutes of absolutely.
I don't know. I feel like D isn't fair. QZ driving is like pretty good.
Yeah, honestly, I would put it like higher. My thing is like I think the 5-minute auto scroller at the end doesn't really matter for ILs, for instance, because you're just waiting and doing all the hard stuff. And
I would say the opposite of what you're trying to
too.
say. I'd say it's terrible for ILs because you have to do it's not terrible because you can grind as much as you want, but it's so nerve-wracking like having to wait 5 minutes and then doing one fly at the end. Like I hate that. Yeah. But in full game we love the bathroom break, especially in multi-game. It's the best level.
Yes, multi-game. Yeah, like if you tried multi-game runs, QZ is like the god tier level.
You're like looking forward to it like 30 minutes ahead. Like, oh, I can't wait for QZ.
Yeah. I do think the driving's really good though. That driving is A. Everything else is like D, somewhere between B and C ish, is my opinion.
I'd mostly agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So B or C.
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 I would
High
be
C.
High
High C
C.
for putting it in C.
Yes. Okay, so I think that's all the Halo 2 levels. If you want to take a look, if there's any we need to move around.
It's pretty
Looks-
good.
Yeah.
We're definitely putting a lot in C. We're saving D, E, and F for like the really bad ones, the really stinky ones.
Okay, first is Sierra.
A. I'm gonna put like almost every Halo 3 level super high because I honestly there's like no bad Halo 3 levels for me. I like them all a lot.
I also agree that Halo 3 in general has a lot of really solid levels. So yeah.
Yeah. I do have one hot take here, and this is a spicy one. I don't.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure this hasn't been changed. The fact that in full game you have to save and quit every single time you fail a zero run. I don't like that. I would much prefer if we stayed with the whole being able to restart. I'm not a fan of the save and quit since it's like the only it's the only game that requires that in the series, like a full save and quit in order to begin a new full game.
Yeah, I never minded it because I don't know. It's just for full game. Like I don't think it, especially on PC. I mean, the load takes like 5 seconds. I never minded it much.
It's just I don't know, unnecessary to me. But
okay, Crow's Nest.
B.
B. Yeah.
I like Crow's Nest. The auto scroller at the start is pretty boring.
The first 3 minutes, like after the first 3 minutes, it's easily A, but the first 3 minutes is pretty ass.
Savo Highway.
S.
I hate Savo so much. It is such a bad level.
I'm pitching Savo S here. Deal with it.
D.
Harc agrees with me. I would put it at D.
Someone on the average. How far up can I get Savo? I need to get Savo as high as possible.
Why do you like Savo, Sorix?
I don't know, dude. I like fucking. I don't know. I just like it. I just like grinding it. It's chill.
If we're going for the in between, probably B.
B.
All right, Grant. All right, bro.
Fine with low B, I guess. Because, like, for me personally, I just think Savo Highway is, like, one similar to Keys where it is, or similar to Outskirts in the fact that it's just a driving level. And personally, I don't like pure driving levels like Savo, and just the RNG that can happen in the run.
Like Savo the RNG is ass, I'll be fair.
Like terrible.
I mean, you can put it in C. B is probably you don't have to be that nice to me.
Yeah.
You can put it in C.
Yeah. My personal take is D, but you know, Storm.
Storm is
B.
No, bro. Storm is like Storm. High A.
High A. What? Okay. Like, okay.
Y'all just don't get Storm. Y'all just haven't played Storm enough, all right?
So
same with Savo. You haven't played Savo enough. If you don't think it's S tier.
I know it's a big meme on Storm RNG, and my personal take is I really dislike Storm, but I can understand why you could put it at a high level or high.
Dude, I just
if Storm
doesn't have that much RNG.
It doesn't really have much RNG actually. Yeah.
Like Storm didn't have the little Warthog RNG at the start, and if your Marines were competent and didn't rocket the ground and rocket the choppers that would fly into you, then I would say Storm would be S tier. But because of those things, I think A tier is fine.
Okay, sure, we can stick it in A.
Hey, if I can get it in A, I'm happy.
S.
Harc, this is Harc's favorite level, Floodgate. Yeah. So
at first when I started playing Halo 3, I didn't like Floodgate that much, but now I like it more than I used to. It's probably like a low A, high B for me.
Yeah, I'd put it at A as well, personally. Like, the movement is probably one of the best movement trick-based levels with DC launches and the hammer, like,
Yeah.
box launches. Like, it's just pure movement level and
Yeah.
lots of it. Like, there's no downtime, and I think that's what
Yeah.
makes it cool.
It's weird because Floodgate is like objectively a really good level, but for some reason I never like got that into it personally.
All right, another hot take.
Arc.
F tier for this.
Bro, what?
I
Harc
hate
hates
Arc so much.
Oh no. Okay, I'm saying S just to like counter Harc. It's up to it's up to Chronos where we put it then.
Honestly, Arc is good. Like, I love the Arc combat in general. Like, I do think there's some things about it that are really annoying, particularly with the the Wraith deloads and stuff can be pretty finicky, and sometimes things just don't work. So I'll put it in between at B.
Ugh, that's dude, that's a crime.
It's a crime.
But fair enough. It's your.
I mean, I do enjoy like the combat though. It's pretty nice. It's just the small things.
We gotta respect the majority, I guess.
Yeah.
B tier it is.
Covey.
S.
This is my
Yeah,
S pick
S.
for Halo 3. Like, I think honestly Covey's probably the best speedrun level. Like, even though I'm not a Halo 3 speedrunner, like, primarily, Covey's.
Alright, guys,
insane.
it's confirmed. We got 3 people here who have run like almost every game, and we're all saying S tier. It's confirmed. Covey is the best level
Best
in
Halo
in the
IL
franchise.
in the franchise. Yeah, please
pretty
run Covenant. Like, even though I'm not good at Covenant, I think it's insane.
Let's go. That's a
like,
W.
What can you ask for? There's no better level for having every single aspect of the game. You have driving, combat, and movement, and tricks. Like,
Yeah.
It's everything.
It's
everything.
Like, even Citadel Clip doesn't like even take it down much for me.
Okay, Cortana.
Because Citadel Clip just means you get to play the level more.
Cortana.
C, maybe D.
I like Cortana a lot. Easy A for me.
I hate Cortana. I agree with Harc. It's
no.
like C.
Damn it.
Like, what's good about Cortana? Like, what makes it good for you, Sorix?
You just haven't played it enough, honestly. Cortana is one of those levels you have to grind it to get it.
I've definitely grinded it, and
I really dislike Cortana's start, and like the reactor room on Legendary is cancer. Personally, I dislike that.
Cortana has a lot of areas where you could just lose your run to really dumb things that you shouldn't be losing your run to.
I think we'll just leave it at C for now. Halo.
Worst Halo 3 level.
Ooh.
C probably for me.
I put it at A.
A. I liked the level, like, personally, but like my issues with it, I definitely agree with Sorix with that. Like, there's a lot of RNG in Halo.
Halo is probably, in terms of like an IO, at least in full game, it's not as bad. In full game, it's like fairly consistent. But in terms of an IO, it's the most RNG heavy level in Halo 3, in my opinion.
Panels.
Yeah, I mean panels.
The
first and second door, and Spire fight. Oh, super RNG. Oh, hammer RNG is huge as well.
Yeah.
Hammer ammo.
Okay, so this is it after Halo 3, if you have any opinions. Yeah.
I think we...
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Prepare to drop.
E. You're sitting in a pod for over a minute, and then you're doing combat that is really, really dumb. And then you do more movement that's really, really B tier.
I mean, we can't put it with armory, right?
I don't think it's Armory.
At least armory, like you get through armory every time, but
Yeah.
sometimes you have to reset to prepare it up.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's pretty bad
Like
though.
definitely not higher than E, that's for sure.
Okay, Teari.
S.
Oh, honestly, super high A. I'd say it's on par with Maw for me. Like Maw and Tayari are like good combo.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like in Teari is playing it on Legendary because the one sequence at the end. But honestly, movement wise, it's like the best, like one of the best levels.
Yeah.
Uplift.
C.
Um,
It was C tier before the Warthog thing, and I think it's still C tier now. It's pretty
well,
mid because the like with the full game aspect of it, you're relying on raids to not be dumb. You're relying on fuel rod grunts to not destroy you while you're trying gap jump, and then after that, it's just an auto scroller pretty much for another minute and a half.
Uplift with the route I did when I played it back in the day was probably my second favorite ODST level behind Tayori.
Oh,
I'd say yeah, it's a B for me probably, but I also haven't done the Warthog thing. The Warthog thing looks not that fun.
my personal
It's
opinion
pretty
is it's pretty bad. Like it's similar to Savo in my opinion.
What?
Just because like well, one, I have grinded the stupid launch, and I think it's probably one of the cancer tricks of the game.
It's bad.
But,
It's bad.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And whose fault is that?
I'm sorry.
But yeah, I just don't like the level because it's like boring driving. I guess the issue is a lot of the driving levels for me just feel like you're just following the path.
Yeah, optimizing the driving for me was super fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I think C tier is pretty good.
Kizingo.
D. Maybe even E. It's
E, I think.
E.
Yeah.
Is it E? It's D or E.
I think it's D. Like the Banshee grab is annoying. The just end fight is kind of pretty much an auto scroller.
I'm fine with D. I'm fine with D or E personally.
It's fine.
You think D?
Oni, hot take. I don't like Oni that much.
I actually kind of agree in a way. Like just the beginning is a lot of auto scroller combat, and the middle feels like kind of auto scroller, like because the only way to speed it up is if you kill everything properly,
like,
and it's kind of RNG sometimes.
The thing is, it's like it's like a nothing level except for the one fight in the middle, or that's what it feels like. Like I'm sure there's like a lot of small things, but yeah, I wouldn't put it above C personally.
You could probably put it
high D.
C, I don't know if it. I don't know if it deserves.
I don't think it's that bad.
I think lower C. Yeah.
I know a lot of people like Oni, but yeah, I don't get it. I don't really get it.
NMPD high S.
Oh my god!
This is the Harc level for.
Do I have to counter Harc with an F again?
No, S, dude. At least A. Come on, it has a lot of satisfying movement and a lot of satisfying combat. Sure, there's RNG with the waves, which does mess with the IL some, but for full game, you can easily get low fives, sub fives. It's a pretty consistent level for full game.
Well, I mean, I don't know, man.
Plus,
it's not that bad, but I don't want it to be like A, so I feel like I have to go low.
I think it's B personally. Just
high B. Come on, high B.
I think I'd agree with B.
Yeah, I don't know. We're in B. Like, we'll reorder these
Average
B
like
or
at the
B
end.
or
I'm
high
pretty
C
sure.
for me.
Yeah, we'll put it at B for now.
I don't know. I feel like we have to put it a high B,
Yeah,
high
we
B
can
or low
resort it
A
at the end. Don't
just for
worry.
Harc.
Okay, Kikowani is next.
High A.
A, you really like Kikowani?
I like Kiko.
I love the trick.
I think Kiko is A as well.
Oh my god.
Maybe not high A. Maybe like Kiko is like low A for me.
I hate Kikowani.
Kiko before the new trick would probably be a D, but now because of the fact that it's not an auto scroller anymore, I think
dude,
high A.
it was good before the trick too. I grinded that level a bit. It was good.
I mean, I had record on old route, but I mean,
Same.
It was, I don't know, the RNG with the Phantom was just
True.
something.
That was annoying. Yeah.
But I do like the box launch to the button. That was a really fun box launch.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess it's just me just not liking the driving levels of sorts, because every single driving level I've been rating it pretty low actually.
I guess.
Right.
So
what do we have next?
All right, Data Hive.
Data
next,
Hive.
I guess.
Yeah.
A, high A, good level.
I like Data Hive. Yeah.
It's Data Hive is one of those levels I'd compare it to Library, where it's like it's kind of like a chill level. Like that doesn't have too much like insane going on. But it's kind of fun to go through.
Yeah, I would put Data Hive at A personally, just because
I wouldn't give it A. I would give it like
you'd give it a
low B.
B.
Low B probably.
Yeah, like the main thing is for Data Hive, I like the fact that the movement is a lot better than Library. Yeah. And there's a bit less RNG compared to Library, in my opinion, for Data Hive. And just like some general movement things that make it better.
I will say the trick at the end I like a lot.
Yeah, the box launch.
Yeah. The end fight skip.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Coastal.
So it used to be like an E tier, maybe even F now.
Low C, high D, maybe.
I say it's a C now.
Yeah,
just for like the. Well, I don't know. It's kind of shit to play, isn't it? Let's be honest.
I put it at D. Like, honestly, the Coastal Highway launch is pretty annoying. That's like one thing, yeah. Like, it is inconsistent sometimes, and then like the fact that you need to do it to save time.
Dude, isn't this sad? Think about it. Like for years and years, people are like, "Oh, if only we had a coastal skip." Now we have it, and we're still putting it in D.
Like, I don't know. Like the level's still so auto scroller like, yeah. Like, because the Coastal Highway skip now is just replacing driving with more driving, except the driving doesn't have waiting in between the driving.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Plus, the driving for Coastal Highway skip kind of sucks. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's ODST done, and now we move on to Reach. Okay, WC.
No, I don't think it's. I mean, for what it is, I don't think WC is that bad.
Yeah.
I'd give it a C probably personally.
Yeah, I'd agree with C. Like, it's pretty low in my opinion, just because the Falcon flip sucks.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I like the movement though. They're like rock climbing at the start is really fun.
Yeah, that stuff is really cool. The ending's also fine as well, I think. Like, it's pretty nice. But it's just the entire in-between section sucks. Okay, Lone Wolf, we don't have
low
to
C it is then.
Okay, Oni Sword Base.
B, I think. B is up there for me for Reach.
Yeah.
Or Oni is up there for me for Reach. I like Oni.
Yeah. Like, I'd agree somewhat. Oni the start is pretty interesting, so, like depending on what you're doing. It is RNG though, sometimes depending on difficulties and stuff. I do like just the general like level design of it aspect, I would say. It makes it fun to speedrun, but yeah.
Didn't you found the like start skip in Acro, right, Harc? Or was that someone else?
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. But also cancer, right?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Okay, Nightfall.
The classic.
S.
Harc, the movement guy, of course, likes Nightfall.
I don't know. I'm not a big Nightfall enthusiast.
Like, my main gripe is all you're doing is doing sprint cycles accurately. The one trick is forklift clip. And,
there's lots of like slide jumps. You have the
I don't
MOA
like
launch.
I don't like reach slide jumps, I'll be honest. They're annoying.
They are pretty annoying.
They're not that bad. I figured out the trick to them, and now they're like 95% consistent. They're pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like in full game, it's nothing level. For ILs, it's cancer with APL. That's my opinion. APL
I mean, legendary is like a coin flip level almost. It's kind of annoying in legendary.
Yeah, legendary is super bad for just that one section in the middle.
At least a high C. Come on.
Should we put it in B for Harc? I'd say, because I'd agree with you on C, but with Harc saying S, I think we have to put it in B at least.
I don't know. Maybe high C.
That's
the Chronos dictator over here.
I really dislike. Like, I mean, we could put it at B, I guess. It's just I'm not a big fan. Okay, Tip with the Spear. Honestly, I really
one
like
of the better reach levels for sure.
A.
Mid to high B, I'd say.
Like, for me, I would put Tip with the Spear honestly at S, just because it feels like a mini Covenant, like a low S. Yeah. Because you do have all the movement shenanigans, and then
literally the first 30 seconds of Tip of the Spear is literally copy and pasted.
I just realized Tip of the Spear is a Covenant ripoff. What the hell?
That's kind of
why. It actually is a ripoff. It even has it's like the cutscene at the end, and then like the level within the level, like the last section is like completely separate.
So here's the thing.
Holy
right?
shit! I never realized.
At the start of Covenant, you take out a couple AA guns, and then a Pelican comes in with the Warthog. Tip of the Spear, same thing happens.
Yeah.
You kill 2 AA guns, a couple other enemies.
Holy,
and then,
how did I never realize this?
Comes in with
it is basically a mini Covenant. The only
it's
issue
actually a ripoff. What?
Yeah, so
you know, I do hate one of my main gripes with Reach is all the I freaking hate with a passion all the Pelican autoscorer sections.
Yeah,
it feels so like Call of Duty to me. Like, why would they do that?
Yeah,
I just hate it so much. But
yeah, that's why I would put it at A. It is an S tier Reach level. If I were just saying Reach specifically, it would be like my favorite Reach level. But just because you're comparing against everything else, I think it's A personally.
Yeah. And by the way, yes, I know there's autoscroller skip now, but
autoscroller skip is kind of a meme.
Yeah.
LNOS.
I like LNOS.
Yeah, I think it's good.
I think the inside section is really good.
Yeah.
Space is like an acquired taste, I think. And the start is not that great.
B.
I'd say
high
I think I agree with B.
Yeah, high B.
Wow, we actually agreed on something.
Because like
let's go.
Yeah.
That's the first time in forever.
Yeah, like LNOS interior section feels like TNR interior section.
Yeah, sure.
So it's kind of why. Just the space section is acquired taste. Exodus. D. Everyone's favorite.
D, really?
Yeah,
I think Exodus is pretty.
I think it's good. I like it a decent amount. The big issue is the auto scroller. Like, it's like 3 minute or something
The
auto-scroller.
start is kind of annoying as well, like running through the grunts and stuff, especially for IOs when you're like trying to YOLO it and go fast.
It is a really good combat level though, if you enjoy combat.
I'd say high C, low B.
Yeah, I guess low B. Okay, New Alexandria.
I think NA can go down an F. I think that's actually pretty fair with all the RNG and I think the highest I'd be able to put is E. It's bad. It's bad.
It is bad.
Yeah.
Is it on par with Halo and Metro?
I don't even think so. It's literally you could lose more time just because you got bad RNG on NA and you can't do anything.
The thing I'm thinking of, like, I don't mind playing NA that much. Like, is that weird? Like, the like gameplay itself, I don't think is bad.
But like when
it's not super interesting, but it's not. I mean, it's not bad.
The RNG is just god awful, losing up to 5 minutes to RNG. Oh man.
Yeah. So for instance, full game, you hate NA like in full game. For ILs, you're just literally grinding for perfect RNG.
Yeah. All right. So let's do F.
Well,
we'll do F.
Probably the worst
I'm on board.
full game level in all the Halo campaigns. That's an actual level.
Package.
B.
Yeah. I'd say B. Like, there's RNG on package, but the combat and stuff is pretty cool overall. The Banshee shenanigans.
The combat, the movement. Yeah.
I think package. Level. Yeah, package is a pretty good. You know, the whole package is good. Yeah. I think.
Like it would be A personally if it weren't for the RNG with the Phantoms. Like the Phantom RNG absolutely sucks sometimes.
True.
Okay, POA on Reach. C. Honestly, I really like POA.
I'm a big POA fan too. I'm not gonna lie.
Why don't you like it, Harc?
Lots and lots of driving. I don't know.
It has good movement though. Honestly, like the start movement is pretty intricate with a big slide jump.
I guess A.
I'd put it at A. It's pretty solid overall.
Yeah. I agree with A.
Yeah.
I feel like POA was almost like made to be a speedrun level.
Yeah. It has like a lot
like
of
the boneyard section, like they made that path for you to like be able to run through. I feel like the like path up top. I know people don't really take that now anymore.
Yeah.
But in like high level runs. But still, I feel sometimes it feels like part of it was made to be speedrun almost. It is like really good.
Okay, so now we're moving on to Halo 4.
B.
Dawn.
Dawn, I guess, is good now. I haven't played with it. I haven't played with it since all the new stuff got found. But
Dawn
yeah, I don't.
Pretty consistent. The initial out of bounds jump is probably the worst part of it, but the rest of it is pretty consistent and it's fun. The only bad thing about it is the 40-second cutscene at the end now.
I mean, the start as well, right? Like the pod and the, I mean, if you're doing full game, you're climbing up as well. That's like a minute and a half of waiting or something.
Yeah, it's a lot of waiting.
I don't know if
I think the biggest thing, like before, it would be a D
you're not
for
doing the you don't go up the elevator shaft anymore, like doing the actual quick time event. You just straight up skip.
Yeah, but I mean for full game.
Yeah, it's for full game.
Wait, really? People are doing that shit in full in.
Harc is
okay.
Like I think just because of the new stuff by Harc and with like the Dawn skip, like because before Dawn's like just regular Dawn skip with the grenade on the box, that was terrible, and that's like that would have made it like a D. F tier. Like that was like a D for me. And then now like the new grenade jump into the wall thing, that one made it so much better, and I'm assuming now you have the Dawn like auto scroller at the start skip. I haven't tried it. Harc's the only one that has. So
All right,
yeah.
all right.
I guess
Let's do B then.
Yeah. Requiem.
See, I have a love-hate relationship with Requiem, where like the combat sections can sometimes be fun, but they can also be incredibly terrible if you get enemies that hide, and then at the end you're relying on kind of Banshee RNG to go your way, and for IOs especially, you have to rely on getting 100% boost off the hijack, which is just like literally like a 1 in 10 chance.
Yeah. I will say, like, I really don't like the driving section. It feels so boring, especially in full game. But the rest of it ain't that bad.
Yeah.
I'm fine with
I
C.
dislike the Banshee RNG for the section in the middle, like, yeah, that section. And the combat and stuff at the start sucks.
Forerunner, probably one of the best Halo 4 levels for me.
I definitely say A for Forerunner.
I'm like not that big of a Halo 4 fan. I'd say like high B maybe. You know what I hate about Forerunner is the Banshee section on Legendary when you just randomly die, and also getting slowed down while running during like the generator section.
I think that's just a Halo 4 problem with
exactly. That's just Halo 4 shit.
Sorix, I'm gonna need to recommend you something. All right.
Yeah.
You should play some more Forerunner, bro.
Fine. I just haven't played it enough, huh? I just don't get it.
I think Forerunner is decent. I don't think I would put it at A, but B makes sense.
Yeah, B's alright.
Like high B. Infinity.
I don't like Infinity that much.
I don't like it either.
Infinity's pretty mid. It has some cool movement, some cool combat, but it's too long. It's right there in the name.
Yeah, it's super long. There's a lot of like combat sequences that are like auto scroller like.
Yeah.
And
on Legendary full game, I just remember it being so boring because you're like running, dude, like running to the Wraith after the cutscene and like running through the Mongoose section. Oh my god. It's so boring.
Would you put it even into D then?
I probably, if I was doing it myself, yeah, I'd put it in high D.
Because I think I would put it in D personally as well.
Fair
just
enough,
because it's like there's so much
Grant saying Infinity S. Ain't no way.
Alright.
Okay, Reclaimer.
C, maybe B.
See, Reclaimer has the same problem. It's just a lot of like running and waiting and driving through empty shits.
Yeah.
Reclaimer does have a lot of new tricks now, though, which
that's fair.
At least C tier.
The jetpack slide looks really cool. The like jetpack slide to get across the big gap slide. What did you say? What is it called?
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say the actual full name.
Okay.
I mean, it's not. I mean,
Shutdown.
Shutdown.
I don't like Shutdown that much.
Shutdown is
probably D for me. I'm not a Shutdown guy.
Yeah. It's basically just drive to the tower and then do a launch.
Yeah.
And then once you do the launch, if you get it, hey, you're done with the level. It's like Keys, but like
exactly. It's like Keys. It's a nothing level. There's like nothing good about it, but nothing bad about it really as well.
But it is boring, like more boring, I would say.
Oh, I forgot about Composer. Right, Composer. Here, this is the best of the whole level. A tier, I'd say. A.
I'd put it solid in A.
Mid to high A for sure. Composer like sits way above every other Halo 4 level, I think.
Like, it is probably one of the best because like you have all the out of bounds stuff. There's a lot of combat sequences. There's a lot of like.
Yeah, it's like constant action until right until the autoscroller at the end.
Yeah. The autoscroller at the end does suck.
And I guess there's a bit of waiting in the first space section as well.
Yeah.
but it's really good.
E for Midnight.
Midnight.
It's the worst Halo 4 level.
I don't agree with that. I think C for Midnight personally.
I think we could put it in between then for D. Like, just averaging the two, and I also think it's pretty bad.
Yeah, I think what Grant's saying is pretty true for me. Like the start sucks, but the rest of the level, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
There is a big issue with just timers on Midnight as well.
Yeah.
So I
a
think
lot
that's
of
also
Midnight
really annoying.
a lot of Midnight is auto scroller.
Like the
You have
portals, the
three-
portal section, like running through the portals with the knights.
Yeah,
You have
that's kind of
3 minutes of really uninteresting flying at the start, like with lots of downtime in between the sections that you're flying in. And then you have lots of really dumb movement that it doesn't really matter because you're waiting for dialogue anyways. And then you have to deal with towers. It's a bad level.
Okay. Halo 5
right.
now. I don't have experience
Osiris.
with Halo 5, so it's going to be you two, I think.
All right.
I'd say high
Osiris.
B for Osiris. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I think that's good. I wouldn't say it's A. It looks really cool, but
it can also
honestly,
be
like
really annoying to play, especially with the launch.
Yeah, it can be annoying. I don't think it's A. I think B is good.
Yeah. Looking at Osiris though for the first level, it looks pretty fun.
Yeah.
Okay, Genesis.
C. It's pretty average.
Genesis is pretty bland. Are these not in order?
I don't
as
think
well,
so.
I guess.
Yeah.
Genesis is pretty bland. Not super interesting, but nothing terrible either.
The
Actually, the ghost thing made it better, I think, because it made the fight more fun on ledge, or not more fun, but less RNG.
The breaking.
I kind of like the combat in breaking personally. Apart from troll crawler, I kind of like it.
All right.
I'd say high C for me.
C?
Yeah, let's do C. Yeah.
Guardians.
S. I love Guardians.
That's the last level, yeah.
Yeah. Guardians is pretty good. I'd say I don't know. I feel like I can't put it higher than B personally. Like I wouldn't if I was making the tier list, I would put it like mid B, maybe high A or a high B. Yeah. So should we put it in A then?
I guess.
High B.
Average of the two?
Yeah. We'll
put
it bottom of A or something.
Alright.
Okay, blue team.
Ooh.
I know Bad Chat really
blue
likes
team,
this level.
Blue team is like objectively good. I think I would like it a lot more if I'd put more time into it. I think it's one of those levels where like the more time you put into it, the more fun it gets almost.
I think A for
I
blue
think that's
team.
fair. I think that's fair.
Yeah. Okay, Glassed.
C or D. C or D, yeah.
Okay.
Pretty uninteresting level.
Yeah.
To play.
Unconfirmed.
Ooh, unconfirmed is good, right? I like unconfirmed a lot. I'd say
B.
Probably. What did you say? B.
Yeah, I think I'd say B.
I think I might put it. I think I might put it like as high as A almost. I like unconfirmed a lot.
I'll put it high B then. Evac.
E.
Oh yeah,
or
E.
F. It's bad.
It's bad. It's really bad.
Okay. E for Evac. Okay, Reunion.
It's not as bad as Evac. It's pretty fun. It's just the water launch is so terrible.
C.
I think I'd agree. I think the level as a whole, if water launch were consistent, it would like easily be a B level or a B tier.
Okay. Swords of Sanghelios.
B. It's pretty fun.
It is, yeah.
It's a unique environment. It has unique tricks. I like it.
Yeah, it's pretty like high octane as well. Like it's pretty like a lot of action throughout. I'd say B is pretty good.
Okay, enemy lines.
Isn't
Enemy
that the
lines.
complete auto scroller level?
Wait,
What
what?
is it?
No,
Oh
enemy
wait,
lines
never
is the
mind.
one. Is the
That's the one where you go inside the thing to get the constructor.
yeah. Enemy
Okay.
lines is like
D.
what? Dude, enemy lines is so good.
We have Bat
Our
Chat in the chat. You could probably
enemy lines is like high B for me, probably.
Let's do
Enemy
high
lines is good.
C. Yeah, let's do high C as like in between. I did not like enemy lines. It was probably like the most boring level to me.
Okay, Battle of Sanayon. It's our last one here.
I think Battle of Sanayan is like blue team. I think you have to play it a lot to like it. I don't think it's as good as blue team though. I feel like putting it with blue team is wrong.
I guess
it is good
B
though.
tier.
It is good. Yeah,
Okay.
high B. High B sounds good.
Where would you put just Halo Infinite now in the list? Like the standard full game run for Halo Infinite.
Like if we're thinking it as okay.
Like just thinking about Halo Infinite as a level. Even though it's like an entire game. I mean it's like what?
D maybe? D or C, I guess. Nah. I haven't done like the most up-to-date strats. I ran the game for like 5 days when it came out.
I'd say high B for Halo Infinite.
I'd say B as well. Like
I
just
mean,
because
I'm definitely biased because I did find a lot of the tricks in Infinite, like in regards to the open
I really
world.
do like the movement in Halo Infinite, for instance. Like the grapple hook stuff in general with the slides is really cool. Like I think that's like a big part. It's just the issue is there's a lot of like no combat anymore. Like very little, in fact.
It's like a hot take maybe, but I think grapple hook movement is overrated.
Yeah.
I think it's like
it's easy.
It's like
yeah,
there's like not a lot of depth to it.
Mm-hmm. It's like you just press the grapple hook and then you can just crouch to slide.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's satisfying if you're just doing it for fun, yeah?
Yeah.
But when you're trying to go for like a record or something, it's like, oh, no, you can't really do too much more
yeah,
to improve upon it. But yeah, so I guess this is our list. If you have any last edits you guys want to do in between tiers or something, like you think.
Yeah, you should save this, by the way. The definitive tier list.
The definitive. Yeah, let's go through like just each tier, see if you have any changes you want to make.
KVT and our Grave Mind, I think that's pretty fair. Those levels definitely like stand out over like everything else. I mean, maybe it is OG trilogy, one level from each game. I guess.
Yeah, they are the three best.
Maybe it's a bit biased towards trilogy, but I mean, most people run trilogy anyway, so I think it's fair.
Okay, any levels you want to move around, for instance, in these? Let's go to A. Yeah.
I think P.
I'd put like 3 for 3. Like I would put 3 for 3 like lower down in A personally.
Lower. Yeah. Probably. I like Tip of the Spear and POA a decent amount. Not gonna lie. At least for Reach.
I think we got a pretty solid A, honestly.
Yeah.
Like this. Maybe like I feel like Guardians doesn't fit in there, but
yeah.
Harc, yeah.
Harc really likes Guardians.
Yeah.
I mean, he has the world record.
The Harc agenda. We got it in A.
I mean, I made one of the most random tricks in the franchise consistent.
Yeah, that's true.
animation skip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of like cool tricks in Guardians.
That's true.
Okay, B. Any changes you want to make here?
Maybe high charity shouldn't be B actually.
Yeah.
Looking at like it compared to all the other levels.
Yeah, comparison wise, I think it should be bumped down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I think B's pretty good.
Yeah, other than that, it looks good.
Yeah. Okay, C. I think this is
big C.
accurate.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah. Well, I would put Cortana up, but that's my agenda.
Can move around, I guess. And then D.
Yeah, D is like the nothing levels, isn't it?
Yeah, it's basically who cares about these levels, and then E is like these levels we actively dislike, and then F is like tier.
F is like meme tier.
Yeah. Say, yeah,
Eggplant really dislikes the fact that we put infinity in D.
I don't know, dude. Infinity is just like, it's just not that fun. I don't know.
It's not fun. I don't understand how you could enjoy that level so much, for instance. Like,
I mean, I did say C tier for it.
I think the start of his Infinity is alright. Like the movement into the uphill fight is decent, but everything after that is so boring.
Yeah. It is kind of a lot of annoying things.
Maybe it's maybe we just haven't played it enough.
Yeah, it's true.
Although Harc has played it quite a bit, so, but not on Legendary, I guess.
That's true.
Okay. Yeah, I think that'll do it for the Halo 4 or the Halo levels tier list thing. We got everyone's solid opinions.
Should we go through and you can say like every level that you found a strat on, Harc? Do you want to do that? That might be fun.
I think
it's gonna be a lot.
Okay. Did I ever find anything on? I mean, I don't think.
Did you not find Citadel clip? Actually,
I mean,
was
Danza
the first person to do it? Well, you were the first person to do it from behind, right? Or was that Pro Killer? Like the old Citadel clip with the forwards in the back of the Citadel. Do you remember that one?
I think I found the consistent setup for the forwards. The backwards, I think, was Danza and Pro Killer. And then the one at the, I don't know who found the one at the door. Yeah, Covenant. I actually don't think I actually found anything. Gravemind, I found the strat at the start, the double grenade throw up into the air and all that. So, yep.
Yeah. CE, you haven't really done much for like much strat done for, right?
Nothing.
Yeah. Well, Tayari then. Did you do? Was truck launch a you thing? Or was that someone else?
No, okay. Truck launch was, I think, mono or chapified. Composer, I found Yellow Room skip where
wait, which one is that?
So there's the room where you have to where Cortana's like insert me into the defense grid.
Oh, right. Okay.
And normally you have to kill enemies and wait in order to get the button prompt, but I found a way to just instantly get the button prompt, saving about 10 seconds and made the level less auto-scrollerly, so it's good.
Hog launch was drunk sniper, apparently?
Yeah, drunk sniper and ecliptic.
Okay.
Cairo.
The consistent jump skip, right? Like the setup people use
mono that found that.
Oh,
I guess it was between me and mono because I think I think I found it, and then Mono was like, "Oh, I found that too." So I don't know.
You found it. Let's
Arbiter.
just say you found it independently of each other.
Arbiter, Hainer Skip, based off of what Mono did, but Mono, no offense,
Yeah.
but he didn't know exactly what was causing the Hainer Skip to work. Just that it would sometimes work, and I found the intricacies of what made it work, and
The
found
MCC
consistent setups for it.
MCC hanger skip, to be clear.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Sierra 117. The triple brute shot slide.
Oh, that's a good strat. I didn't know you found that.
Getting into the jungle.
That's what that was during your Sierra era, right?
Yes.
You grinded Sierra for a while and like started doing a bunch of weird shit. I remember you were doing like slides that no one else was doing and stuff. It was weird, but it was cool.
Storm Mongoose clip.
Oh,
That's
such a
definitely
good
one. That's one of my
pretty major.
favorite contributions to.
That's like
to the
I think
series.
that's one of the best because it's like it removed a lot of the difficulty.
We got rid of requiring DC RNG.
Yeah, but let's talk about like what was like the first month or maybe a couple weeks of Mongoose Clip. You still needed a DC, right?
That is correct. And then I accidentally
Yeah.
clipped through without the DC. I was like, wait a second.
Was it you who found it with the DC as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. For those who haven't never seen like the old Mongoose Clip, you basically put the mongoose. It was based on the co-op setup, I think.
It was like I looked at what made the co-op setup work. I was like, wait, the DC is actually like it covers almost the exact amount of space as co-op. So, and then it worked.
Yeah, you basically like block so you can't get out of the mongoose near it. You like put the DC over the mongoose. It's kind of interesting, that setup. But yeah.
Floodgate clip, and I guess the magic carpet thing at the start off of the little construction debris.
Wait, was that you?
Yeah.
I swear that was an alien flows run.
Nope, that was me.
What? I could have sworn that was an alien flows run, but maybe not.
Yeah, when in doubt, Harc found it.
Guardians.
Wait, I have to look.
Skip.
Oh wait, was his 247 legendary? Was that after you had gotten easy? Maybe.
I think so.
Yeah, that would make sense.
What's the date on that run?
It's 30th of April 2017. Wait, let me just make sure it actually has the carpet ride. I remembered having it. Yeah, he goes for it, but he doesn't.
Okay, so say the date again. April.
30th of April 2017.
Yeah, that was after me. All right. Okay. I guess also I found the intricacies of what made the lunch warp, I guess, consistent for IOs and full game for Guardians with regards to having to actually play the game for 5 minutes in order for it to be, a thing.
And the setup for like the thing at the end, right? The animation skip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Crow's Nest, silo clip. I think
Harc classic.
Yep. Let's see. Nothing on Arc as far as I know.
NMPD Harc basically devved the entire end sequence, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I figured out what made the end sequence actually fast, so not really any tricks though. Kikowani, second boob, found that one.
Yeah. We
found the second one before we found the first one. Data Hive. Who found the box
the
launch
final box
thing
launch?
at the end? It might have been me, or it might have been maybe Viper. I want to. Maybe
I don't
I'm
remember
dumb,
either
but
who found that. Grant saying Viper.
yeah, Viper then.
Yeah.
Either way though, yeah. Pretty cool.
Oni.
Nothing on Oni. I mean, I have theoretical strats on Oni, but none of it proven.
Yeah. Nothing for
Nightfall.
solo. Regular at least.
Yeah. Nothing on Nightfall. X. Theoretical ass for Exodus. Hasn't been done yet though.
Yeah.
Nothing for package. Dawn. Oh boy.
Big boy. Big time.
Oh boy. I found the grenade jump out of bounds. I found the extended out of bounds. The pressure launch. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And now you have the time faster than the segmentator.
Yep. If we had a couple extra months for segmented, I probably would have been able to find that pressure launch beforehand, because that's where the time save is the pressure launch that gets you on top of the elevator.
Yeah, that's pretty sick though, overall.
Let's see, what else do we got here? I guess technically you could say the outskirts AUP for co-op.
Yeah.
With the Phantom.
Yeah.
Mono. Creature. Let's see. What else do we got here? Uplift, the Warthog launch out of bounds.
That was you. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess you could save me in Zero,
Yeah.
because we were messing around in co-op, and then yeah.
Yeah, it's absolute cancer trick though. Like, it's one of the most difficult, not gonna lie.
Requiem.
Yeah, it's not a great one, is it?
Requiem boob.
Oh yeah, the Requiem out of bounds, which is used for some aisles in, I think, in full game now. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Reclaimer. I found the catsuit slide.
All right, I won't ask why it's called that. Moving on swiftly.
Infinity, I found a new route at the start that gets you to the what's it called, the IFF tag. That's pretty cool. I guess I labbed out some end fight stuff, and no, yeah, that's what I got for Infinity. Coastal Highway. Oh, sorry about that. I don't think I actually did anything for Coastal Highway outside of co-op with the old route of clipping through the doors. That was a fun route, by the way. Shut down, diagonal, pelican flying. I found that. That saves like 20 seconds. Very cool. Midnight, I got absolutely nothing. Screw that level. Prepare to drop. I found the plasma and frag slide jump in the courtyard before you go inside the final building.
Yeah.
Huge discovery.
Yeah.
for PTD.
And I think that's it for yeah.
That's quite a lot of tricks though, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's quite a lot of runners within the community that have found a lot of tricks and stuff. Harc is definitely one of the most notorious, I would say, for finding like all sorts of tricks and strats.
Yeah, and the fact that it's like on multiple games as well.
Yeah.
Not many people do that. And also implementing the tricks. Like, you don't just find the tricks, you always like go for records with them and like try to take the time as low as possible.
Yep.
And I guess we could just go to this screen here, which shows, like you can see that you have a lot of like insane records. Like, you have currently 11 like current world records right now, but you've held like so many on just like all the levels almost.
Yeah, Halo
What?
3 full game, ODST full game.
Yeah. Out of like in your entire like speedrunning history, you picked up a lot of levels and like grinded a lot of levels like hard. What was your favorite grind?
NMPD.
Really?
Yep, I
Really?
love NMPD.
Damn. I would not have expected that. Not even Floodgate, man.
Floodgate, I would say, would be my second favorite grind I did.
Yeah.
But NMPD was just mwah.
Damn.
Love NMPD.
What is it about it that you love so much?
The combat and the music at the end
The
to
music.
go.
Oh.
Dude, the
It is a
music,
banger, to be honest, to be fair. I can't even lie.
so good.
Okay. Do you want to discuss strat finding then? Just in general, how your approach is to strat finding and implementing your strats and runs?
Sure. So something that I think helps me a lot is understanding that pretty much every single Halo game is fundamentally very similar in terms of the physics engine. So
Mhm.
lots of glitches that are present on one game are very likely to carry over to another Halo game. Especially with regards to extremely high speed launches like DC clips, getting stuck in
Mm.
scorpion tanks and being shot out, um, uh, brute hitboxes moving around. There's so many ways to get insanely fast speeds in the Halo series.
Yeah.
And it just carries over from it just carries over. So once you understand the intricacies of one game, it's very easy for it to carry over to the other games.
Yeah.
um so lots of tricks that I found were based off of other tricks that I've also found. um
Yeah.
and
Just
it's
like
just
all that experience of like finding other tricks, it just like helps you find new stuff as well, right?
yeah. um I guess the other thing is, I guess having an end goal is nice where it's like, all right, well, I want to skip this section. So let me focus um, uh, on anything that could help me skip this section. So
Yeah.
starting at the end and then traveling backwards to see exactly what materials do you have to work with. Do you have like
Mm.
boxes? Do you have deployable covers? Do you have weird geometry? Anything like that. Just think about anything that you can in order to try to get yourself to get your get your goal to be done.
Yeah.
uh
Because
and
just like starting to think about like something is sometimes like half the key to finding a trick. Like sometimes it's just like, oh, no one's even thought about trying anything here before. Let's see what I can do.
yep. um yeah, I don't know, I really enjoy finding new strats. I really enjoy the idea of helping the game to go faster. Even if sometimes it's at the detriment of runner enjoyment, which has
Mm.
definitely been, brought up by a couple people before.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like constant change to the speed run. If the speed run stays the exact same, then it kind of, I don't know, I get bored of it. Like I
Mm.
really love and embrace change, which is something that, uh n- I would say a majority of runners don't enjoy the change because they just want to optimize what currently is, rather than wanting to optimize something with the new route, because it's like, wow, all this hard work I did optimizing this old route, and now that's completely, like, I understand it,
Yeah.
but that's not really my thing. Like, if let's say I optimized guardians to the point of like 0.1 milliseconds, and then a new skip came along that saved like 30 seconds, I would love it. I would love to, be able to just optimize the new route. It's like finally there's new breath in this run for me to enjoy. Let's go.
I think part of that is just like you really love Halo, honestly, right?
Yeah, it's a pretty fun series, and
You I think you could say you played Halo like a little bit, right?
um, I
Yeah.
think I have the most MCC playtime out of anyone in the world of
Mm.
Yeah. Do you
because I
happen to
remember
know
looking
how
at.
much you could estimate?
So hold on, give me 1 second. I actually have a friend that made a bot that actually counts up both my Steam hours and Xbox hours because they are separate.
Yeah.
Um, hold on one
Because I'm
second.
pretty sure, for instance, for me, I speedran quite a lot, yeah, for probably 5 years, and I think my hours is, let me check. Uh,
I can bring up mine as well.
Okay. I
so
have.
wait, Hark. Okay, so to put it in perspective, I have around 5,000 hours like total with MCC, Infinite, and probably CE as well. Maybe like 6,000 to be
So
accurate.
I have on Steam I have 1500, but I have like I also have hours on MCC on like console from back in the day, and I have a ton of hours on like Xbox 360 and Halo 2 and Halo 3. I would I this is I would have to just guess. I would say maybe that's like 3,000 2,500 hours, maybe 3,000.
Mhm.
So yeah,
So
maybe
now,
three to 4,000 for
yeah.
me.
So now let's see how much Hark has.
All right, so I just pulled my stats. I have 997 days, 12 hours on MCC, which is 23,900 and like 35 hours.
That's like RuneScape tier.
That's like, so 25,000 hours of Halo
And
Yeah.
that's just MCC. That's not even
on
counting my time
MCC,
spent
just
on the
MCC.
classic games
Yeah, and Halo
Oh
5.
boy. So
and Halo. Yeah.
that's probably nearing like even 30,000 hours total. That's insane. Oh boy. That's
Yeah.
more than me and
So,
Sorix combined. Like
yeah.
by like three
So now you
times.
see why this guy is like finding tricks for every single game. And like a lot of how like pretty much all the time is in campaign as well, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there was a time where I did grind the heck out of multiplayer, but I don't know. I just really enjoy speedrunning a lot more rather than going up against sweats in multiplayer. Even though I can hold my own in multiplayer, like I'm not terrible at multiplayer. Like Jerv, I would say, is pretty good at Halo 2, and I was able to keep up with them pretty good in 1v1s and whatnot. Like I don't know, like whenever I do play multiplayer, I usually average like probably like the top 3 players in a match,
Yeah.
including from the enemy team. So yeah, I don't know. I just oh, there's a new Dawn thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The new
Yeah.
pressure launch. It's so good.
Sick. Yeah, so like take us back to like the early days of like when you're just getting into so you got into tricking before speedrunning, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
What is tricking exactly for like the can you like explain it for the people who might not know?
So tricking is basically I would say almost like an art form where you
Mm.
use existing glitches in order to perform a task that you want to complete, whether that's let's say on Halo Reach, like on top of the spear, there's like all those frigates outside the map. Like, what if you wanted to get a ton of AI on top of that frigate so they could have a massive battle, in the air? Or what if you wanted to get to that frigate when there's not really any good way to conceivably do that? Like, you would need a
Mm.
glitch of some kind because there's the barriers, and then there's obviously the height, and then you have to deal with the fact that you have fall timers. So if you get too much of a too much height off a launch, you fall timer. So it's just something of like it really gets your brain going to be active and trying to figure out solutions to. It's like problem solving. That's what tricking is. It's literally just problem solving.
Yeah.
There was this
Using the game sandbox.
yeah. And we don't like using mods or anything to do our tricks. Like we just want to stay within the confines of what everyone can do, what everyone is capable of. Just boot up the game, if needed, turn on some skulls, and that's it. That's all we want to do. Just figure out what we can do with what we have. I think one of the coolest tricks that I've ever been a part of is what's known as the destroyed science wing on Halo
Yeah,
Reach.
I was gonna say that's the best one. If you have not seen that video, you have to watch it. It's so cool.
Yeah,
only science, or what is the video called actually?
The destroyed science wing.
The destroyed science, which by Termatius Precocity.
Yep. And yeah, that required so much like planning. Like we were literally like writing down plans in our freaking like little notebooks in real life, trying to figure this out. Because on paper it may not seem too difficult, because a part of that trick is getting down to the subway station, which is just this gigantic train station underneath the map, which we had gotten to before. And the destroyed science wing is only like maybe like 50 feet away from the station, so it's like, oh, it can't be that hard, right? Wrong. There's this really dumb part where if you get too close to the science wing, there's a volume of void space, and Halos 2 to Reach, if you're inside the void, the game will kill you after like half a second. It's like a protection kill volume thing. So we had to find a way to beat out the timer in some way to be able to survive. And it ended up getting to this convoluted plan where I joked with Sakela, what if instead of getting down to the subway station in this way, we found another way to do it so that we could potentially get a vehicle inside the subway station. Vehicles are very good for giving you high speed launches that could potentially beat out that timer. So one day I was like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if we made like a complete like bridge of ghosts and made our way over to the subway station? Because that's what we would need in order to actually do this. And then it was like, yeah, right, that's never gonna happen. And then we messed around with it, and I ended up getting that jump. And then I think about 3 days later is when we completed the trick. Like that ghost jump sequence was probably like, that's probably one of my biggest big brain moments I have ever had.
It's really cool. I feel like there's nothing like it in any other tricks I've seen from that channel or from
Yeah, it's definitely the most complicated, complex trick. Like there's so many steps to it, and a lot of like this is definitely like the most complex, most step heavy trick we have ever done. But yeah, another thing is I got really good. Well, I think I said this earlier, but I got really good at diploma cover launches because some of the tricks that we were trying to do required someone be good at it. So it's something where like I came up with my own setups and whatnot, like setups that were very drastically different from anybody else's setups, and it took months to get my muscle memory down. But even now, I think I haven't actually touched Halo 3 in like almost 2 years. And last night, I loaded up Floodgate, and within 15 minutes, I got it like a 257 Floodgate with and with first try DC launches and everything. Like that muscle memory, it's gonna stay with me because of just how much time I spent with it.
You'll still be getting sub 50s in the retirement home. In the bingo hall. So, I forgot what I was gonna say now. Sorry.
Yeah, you've done a lot of work on segmented. Is there any segmented project you're like proud of? Because you've done like a lot.
Or especially proud of, I guess.
It's pretty much a tie between 3 and or ODST and 4. I would say, because with Halo 4, when we started the project, the game was pretty bare bones in terms of what tricks were going to be in the segmented run.
Yeah.
And then I ended up finding a decent majority of the tricks that would be in the segmented run, like the Dawn out of bounds, the tank launches on Reclaimer and Infinity, the diagonal flying on Shutdown, the yellow room strat on Composer. A lot of those strats that are now in the IL were tricks that I found specifically for the segmented project, and it just ended up being able to be done in ILs because give enough. It's like what Goatrope said on that tweet. Like, given enough time, all segmented strats will become IL strats. It's just a matter of putting enough time and effort into figuring out what makes those tricks work so that you can come up with a solution that is consistent enough to be pulled off.
Yeah. And segment is kind of like it's like a playground for strats almost, because you're just like, it doesn't matter how inconsistent it is, right? You're
You're
you
just
don't care
trying to.
how many attempts it take. You're just seeing if it's possible at all.
Yeah, and that's something where it's like, someone brought up the idea of maybe like one day like putting segmented runs like on HaloRuns, like at its own category, so that people could compete with segmented runs. And I
Yeah.
think that would be a very good idea for the community at large, because first of all, you're trying to see how fast you can go at a personal level, but you're also trying to see what strats can you come up with for segmented. And I think putting segmented runs on Halo would incentivize more strat finding and get more strats to be found that will eventually be implemented into ILs or full game. I think that would be a really good idea for HaloRuns to do. Personally,
Yeah, it's interesting. I think one of the weird things is segmented is usually like it's usually not, one person doing it, right?
yeah.
It's like, so
It's usually
to me
like
it
a
feels a
group
bit
of.
weird to like have it as like a leaderboard.
I mean, there's definitely like sections where like it wouldn't have to just be a full game segmented leaderboard, like
Yeah.
ILs as well, like because
Yeah.
um a lot of people will do their own ILs. Like, I mean, sure, you can have multiple people working on an IL in a segmented project, but I mean, I'd say for the IL part, like a decent amount of people just end up just doing the entire level on their own in the end. So
Yeah.
maybe if we had a rule set of like, sure, maybe people can help with strat finding, but it has to be all your gameplay or something. I don't know. It's just an idea, or maybe have
Yeah.
it treated like co-op, or like you can have multiple people attached to the segmented run. But yeah, either way, I think it something like that would be a very good idea for the community as a whole to. I think we would find a ton of new strats, like a ton.
Yeah. I'd definitely like to see segmented feature on the site somehow. Or like the segmented runs.
Yeah.
That would be very awesome.
Well, yeah, the thing I was gonna ask later, for a lot of the tricking, the goal is kind of arbitrary, right? A lot of time, but there are some like common ones. So like the sort of holy grail is like cutscene rooms usually.
Cutscene rooms, definitely.
Yeah.
That's definitely probably my favorite kind of tricking is
Yeah.
getting into cinematic rooms, like areas that like were only ever meant to be seen with the view of a camera, not with the player walking around inside of it. Something about it just, it's really awesome to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's really cool, like getting to an area like you're not supposed to be, like, right? But that you've seen. I don't know. It's just a really cool concept, isn't it? I don't
Yeah.
know.
And
One of the like, I remember there was a spree, like a spree of tricks for a while with like Cortana cutscene rooms on Halo 3.
yeah, there's
And I
two left that we haven't
yeah,
been able to get to, and
yeah. It's
we
on what,
have
Covenant,
ideas.
and what's the other one?
Cortana and Sierra 117.
Oh, okay, wait. Okay, area. You did. Oh yeah, Covenant was the last one you did, right? Or
One of
am
the
I?
last ones we did, yeah.
Yeah. Any
Yeah.
any leads on Sierra or Cortana you can leak? Or has there?
um
Because I know it's been a very long time since you guys did got one of those.
well, let me put it this way. We're waiting for 343 to put in a Fiesta skull so we can get a deployable cover.
Oh, okay.
Or modify and change the Acrophobia skull so that you're invincible to the void.
Hmm.
So, uh, and as far as Cortana, we would need an invincibility to the void, because even at what the max speed that the game can possibly ever give you, it's not enough to reach the room. We're still off by about the length of 2 phantoms.
Oh no.
Which may not seem like too much in terms of like, how fast a DC launch is, but it's still pretty far. So
Fair enough. Any other trick you're like excited about that it's like close but not possible?
hmm I may have to think about how I word this. Because otherwise I'm gonna have the CIA of Tremendous Tricosity on my ass, and I don't want that. Just,
How about any speedrunning specific tricks you think?
But hold on. There's a couple of tricks on Halo 4 that we're either really close to cracking or that we have cracked. I will not elaborate any more than that.
All right.
Harc's gonna get a
Video
new
coming
world
soon. What about speedrun tricks? Is there anything you're looking at, or like any section you think there could be something or anything like that?
So I've definitely always been interested in Oracle Elevator and finding a way to skip that. I think the closest idea for that is something that Mono has figured out, where he can use the elevator to like launch himself through the wall. I think that's probably almost as good as we're gonna get. The other idea would be, if you know what a super bounce is, you can sometimes get slanted super bounces where like it just shoots you horizontally, and you can actually use that to break through walls. So the idea would be, if you could get a slant powerful enough, you could potentially break through the Oracle Elevator section and get into the next section, which would be a lot of time save, obviously. I think Dawn has. I think Dawn still has a couple more tricks that could be found.
Just like in the out of bounds section, I guess.
Maybe, yeah. Like once you hit like what's known as freeze load, which starts like the ending area of the mission, I think there could be more pressure launches that would maybe save like, like there's only so much time to save there, because after freeze load you only play the game for about 25, 26 seconds. It's pretty short, but I mean,
yeah, the level is basically, what is it? Like what is the required things you need to do? Hit the load and then hit the ending trigger? Is that it?
Yeah, so you have to hit the freeze load to load in like the ending area, and then there's one more trigger that's required, but that trigger requires you to hit that freeze load. So basically, if you got out of pod and then you went instantly into freeze load and then you went to the end, it would work.
Yeah.
If you didn't hit that then the ending trigger would not work. I actually messed around with that yesterday because part of the tricking ideas I had was to get into the ending area of Dawn, like like the whole like vehicle bay that gets destroyed. And my thought idea was going to be, what if there's a load zone switch trigger overlapped on top of another trigger, that just pulls you into the cutscenes. So like you could hit maybe one and not the other. But unfortunately, it's all the same. It's just one trigger that does everything there. And the only way that trigger becomes active is if you hit the destroyed Dawn ending load zone beforehand. So I like nerding out about all this stuff. Like, a lot of
That's
my
good. That's what we're here for.
I guess a lot of my strat finding is thanks to both the Acrophobia skull and the Halo editing kits.
Right.
Because it allows you to look like one powerful tool of Halo editing kit that I don't think too many people know about is it shows you what trigger volumes are actually active and which trigger volumes are not active at any given point. I think that there's still I think that there's more to be looked at in regards to that. Because there are sections where, like, if you skip ahead, it's like, oh, I guess we're soft locked, but maybe you're not actually soft locked, and you just need to, I don't know. I think that the idea of being able to see what trigger volumes are actually active and which ones aren't, like, just a green check or an X, like that's incredibly useful knowledge.
Yeah, and even before MCC PC, that was a thing, right? Or has it gotten a lot more advanced now, or
It's
has that
more
changed?
advanced now. Yeah.
Yes. Speaking of which, do you have any tips for anyone that's like looking to get into tricking or finding glitches and stuff? Like, what would you recommend?
Something that I would recommend is, I guess, something that I like to do a lot is I like to go on YouTube. I just search for Halo glitch, and I'll just go through all the results. Like a lot of times now, I just go to newest first, just so I can see if there's anything new that I'm missing. Like, if you can find something that is like, oh, I don't understand how that works, or like nobody understands how that works.
That's
Here,
interesting. I did not know you did that. I would
so
not have expected that.
a lot of things with glitches is like it's very rare that a glitch isn't reproducible outside of instances where a glitch is caused by, let's say, a faulty disk or a hardware issue. Almost
Cost.
every single glitch can be reproed very, very easily, and all it takes is just understanding of how the engine works, how the glitch could work. So, like, if you don't understand how it works, just mess around with it until you start getting the glitch to actually work, and then you can find all the intricacies of, okay, what allows this trick to work, what makes this trick not work, and then you can come up with a common solution to find a consistent way in order to do these things. And let's just say it's a glitch that could be versatile, it can be used in a lot of instances. Then that's the point where you should look at other missions and see, all right, wait, this could be used here. Like, I can clip through the wall using this technique. Let's do it on a mission that would benefit from a wall clip. Looking at old glitching videos just to just deepen your knowledge of the game definitely is something that helps a lot. I started off with super bouncing on Halo 2. That's how everything began, actually, because I went over to a friend's house. He had Halo 2. I hadn't even heard of Halo at this moment. And he just jumps into this little thing on coagulation, jumps out, and then just super bounces, and it's like, wow, that is incredible. I love it so much. And
How old were you then?
I was like 11. I was pretty young.
And when did you start like getting like heavily into tricking, like the tricking community? It was pretty early as well, right?
I would say 2015, 2016.
Okay. And
And
you were what,
then
14 or 15 then? Or how?
I was either 16 or 17 at that point.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm 23 now.
Oh, okay, same age as me. For some reason, I thought you were like 1 or 2 years younger than me. So, yeah.
What else? My mind's blanking.
I was gonna say like, what's a that thing on like YouTube you mentioned, like just sorting by newest, and I assume just seeing like random glitches that have happened to like casual players mostly,
Yeah,
or
I would.
or like
I'd.
people that don't know what's going on. What's like is there like a glitch you found like that you can give an example, or like
So
a skip?
a couple things on Halo Infinite, like the ground pound clipping.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
uh, I I did a lot of studying the videos. Like this was really early on in Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
Where people would, sometimes, just ground pound and clip to the floor. And then I was like, I think I can make that consistent. And it was because of another technique that we found on a couple other Halo games called phasing. And how
Yeah.
phasing works is you use the power of your melee animation, like the pole that it
Yeah.
generates, and you end up getting stuck in between like a piece of geometry that's kind of like slanted, and that allows you to clip through the floor. And the 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 classic ground pound clip works essentially the exact same way. You're grappling towards something, but you're having it be interrupted by something else that's slanted down, so that it redirects your momentum from going straight forward to straight down, and the game can't handle that and it just clips you through.
Yeah, and so that led to ground pod clipping in Infinite, which is like a similar thing. You're like ground pounding with the grapple, like on the edge of a wall, right? Basically.
Yeah, it like there's variations of the ground pound clip that don't require that much of a slant, but I would say about 70% of ground pound clips work in that way,
Yeah.
with the slanted surface.
Yeah, the crazy thing with ground pound clips is when like that got found, is like you can basically do it anywhere in the game. Like any
Mhm.
room, any like inside room in the game is likely to have you're likely to be able to find like a setup to get a consistent ground pound clip. And that
Yeah.
like really open up the game. It's like, oh, we can get out of bounds literally anywhere we want now, as long as we have the ability unlocked. Which basically game the game. The game is speedrun to the ability. Well, speedrun to the ability, launch warp to the end, and then
And then you use the
clip
ground
to the
pound
end.
clips on the last level.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, the Halo Infinite progressed extremely quickly in
mm,
terms of the speed run. Like it's amazing how fast that game progressed. Like with the lunge warps, the pelican routing, like skipping, 80% of the game.
yeah, yeah.
Like
I mean,
that's a speedrun route that I am extremely proud to have been a part of in terms of the routing and everything, because that game probably shouldn't have been where it's at right now for probably another 4 or 5 years. But because of the fact that we had the knowledge of all these glitches from previous Halo games, like I said, like experience
yeah,
from previous Halo games and understanding how it works is incredibly fundamental in order to find new strats. Because
yeah,
all the Halo games, in some way or another, are extremely similar with
yeah.
regards
That's
to
a
the glitches that you're able to do.
that's a very good point. Like lunge warping, for example, it took forever for that to be found in Halo 5. But since
Yep.
it's in Infinite as well, we could basically use it from the start instead of having to wait like 5 years for it to be found.
Yep. And another part of it is, is the fact that, people like Burnt were able to make tools so quickly to figure out how to do the lunge warps. Like he made that lunge warp visualizer tool, which just shows like if you start here and you do this angle, this is where you're gonna end up. Like it's that tool was so fundamental in order to get the route where it is right now. Like Burnt is the goat of Halo software, 100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's a goat in general. But...
That's true. I think we all love Burnt in the HaloRuns community.
Yeah. We all have a crush on Burnt, to be honest. I think. Yeah, I guess Burnt is like your counterpart for CE almost, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Argentina as well. Argentina's pretty good at strat finding.
Yeah, more recent.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we have 2 questions from Twitch chat. Once again, if you do !Q, you can ask questions or add topics to the discussion. So the first one, and if it hasn't been asked yet, how did you get into Halo, Harc?
So I made a friend at school, one of my only friends I ever had growing up. And it turns out that even though we were kind of like out in the middle of nowhere at the time, and the closest house was probably about 5 miles away, and that closest house is where my friend lived at. So I went over to his house one day, and I think the first game he actually put on was I can't remember the exact name of it. I want to say Black. It is first person shooter on the original Xbox. I want to say it's Black. Like if I hope I'm remembering that right. And then I saw Halo in the titles, like the Halo 2 cover. I was like, ooh, that looks interesting. Can you put that in? And then we started up Lockout, and I think he put on a Swords and Rockets. Like we were both like kids at the time, right? So it's not like we were gonna do MLG hardcore mode, but it was Lockout, and I got my ass handed to me. But I loved it, like the graphical style, like the snow on Lockout, like everything about it was like, I love this. I want to play this. So about a month later, I convinced my dad to let us go to Entertain Mart, where I picked up the Halo Combat Evolved and Halo 2. And I loved it. It was so fun. Like, oh man, lots of good times. But my first online experience was Halo Reach, because around 2013 or so is when we finally got internet service at our home. And it was also when I first got my Xbox 360 as a Christmas present, and that Xbox 360 came with the free download of Halo Reach. So that was my first multiplayer experience with Halo. Halo 3 I would get about 2 months later, because I just finished Halo 1 and 2. I hadn't even played Halo 3 yet. I knew nothing about the story, where it would go in Halo 3. So I kind of skipped around a little bit, but Halo 3 was definitely my favorite multiplayer, I would say, but Halo Reach was very close second. I used to be absolutely dominating at SWAT, dude, in Halo Reach. Like that was my game. If we play, like if you played against me in SWAT, you were done. Like I had multiple games where I would literally 50 of the other team were like, none of my teammates even got a kill. Like I was absolutely bonkers. Yeah, I was bonkers at SWAT.
Interesting.
Yeah, so how about just Halo speedrunning? Since you talked about how you got into tricking, but how about just into speedrunning for Halo?
Yeah, by the way, were you into glitches like because you saw in the Halo 2 like super bouncing thing. Were you into Halo glitch or like video game glitches before that? Was that your like
The Halo
the first
2
time
was
you
was the first one for me.
yeah, when you like got you into glitching as well?
Yep, that's really what started me on the path that I'm on right now is, Halo 2 with super bounces and just, Banshee launches is, just everything.
Yeah.
In terms of the actual speed running, since I had joined Tremendous Trigosity, Rorson was a part of Tremendous Trigosity. So
Mm.
he tipped me off about how he used to speedrun Floodgate and he thought that I would like it. So I took a look at the current record, which was by Alien Flow at the time. I was like, I'm gonna do that. So I made a HaloRuns account, and 5 days later, I submitted my first time ever to the website, which was a 3 flat Floodgate.
Damn, that's really good.
That's insane, actually.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it was a 3 flat Floodgate, and yeah, it was literally like 5 days after I made my account or whatnot. Like I got really good at Floodgate really quick because
Mm.
I loved that level so much.
And a lot of the tricks you were basically already familiar with like all the tricks, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Like box launches I had been doing, DC launches I had started to learn. Um, so yeah, that there's just a and just everything kind of tied in. Like it's almost like a perfect puzzle that fell like into place with regards to like my speed running history.
Mm. For a long time it was just Halo 3, right?
Yeah, Halo 3 was definitely the game that I speedran the most, and then I went to Halo 2, and then ODST, and then back to 2, and then back to ODST, and now I'm at Halo 4 pretty much, with a little bit of Halo 5 in between, and Halo
Yeah.
Infinite, I guess. But
Any plans to go back to 3? It's you mentioned it earlier. It's been a while.
it has been a while, but I'm still incredibly happy with the times that I got in that game. For the
Mm.
strats at those times, I'm extremely happy with the times that I got on Halo 3 and ODST, to the point
Mm.
where it's like if I do come back, it'll probably because someone else has found new strats in that game that drastically changes how the game plays.
Mm.
My current goals right now is 106 Halo 4, maybe even a 105. My summit best is like a 105.34.
Okay.
That's
That's
insane.
a
Yeah.
yeah, pretty big goal.
Because also remember the world record being like a 110 by Mori or something. Or
109,
yeah, 109.
30. Yeah, 109.36, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe
That
38.
basically barely sub 110, and now it's going to a 105 that quickly. That's actually insane.
Maybe even one day it'll go sub 1, but not for a while.
Yeah.
There is one thing that you've never done really. Well, not never, but basically you have not explored much, and that's legendary.
Yeah, I like what I like about speedrunning is just the fact of going fast and not really having to compromise on going fast. Whereas with Ledge, you're constantly having to change up your gameplay to change
Mm.
the way that you deal with different situations to the point where it's like it's a lot of compromise over pure speed, and that's something that's
Mm.
like I've never really been that big of a fan of doing that myself, but watching other people do legendary speedruns I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um I'm just not that big of a fan of legendary.
Yeah. I think I
Unless yeah.
I think for me, I always saw it as like it's another restriction on top of, or like it's another complication you have to work around. Because like with tricking and speedrunning and everything, you're always working within certain constraints, right? Like you can't just do anything you want. You can't just load up a mod or whatever. You're constrained with the game. So it's just adding another constraint, really.
Yeah, I mean I've thought about doing legendary runs, and every single time I'm like, I get myself hyped up to do it. Like something comes up where it's like, dude, I just want to stick with easy. I just want the game to go as fast as it possibly can. But I mean, there's still hope that maybe one day I'll do Ledge Halo 4 or something that has looked kind of entertaining to me. So I don't know.
That's funny because I led Halo 4 is sort of like my least favorite one, or it's actually, but it's probably that's just because it's the least legendary of the. It's like the least legendary of the legendaries, you know. But I guess for someone who doesn't like legendary much, it might be a good starting point. Yeah.
Yeah.
We will have to see how everything goes. I definitely am definitely going to be getting this 106 soon though. Like I'm very close. I just need a run that makes it to Composer, and then I need Composer to not be a meme, and then that's 106. Pretty much.
Yeah. What about like breaks and stuff? Do you ever take breaks from Halo?
I wouldn't. A couple of times I have. I'll something that I will do a decent amount though is I'll switch back and forth between speedrunning, tricking, and trick jumping. Um, so I also like to do trick jumping. I've been
Yeah,
featured in
that's
a decent
something we
amount
haven't really
of
talked about.
videos
But
and whatnot. And then if I get bored of that, I'll go back to either speedrunning or tricking. Like there are times where you'll see that like I haven't streamed or really done anything in like a couple months, and that's usually because I'm on my speedrunning break and I'm doing something else. Like I'm constantly trying to get my mind to be active on, I guess, new things. And if I'm not, even if I feel stagnated in speedrunning, then I'll try to do new things and tricking or trick jumping. And it's just a way to keep my mind, as active as it can be, because I love like constant brain activity.
Yeah.
you have done other games though. I know you've done Metro.
Yep,
A good chunk.
I used to have the record on Metro Last Light, and I found a lot of strats on that entire series. One of the biggest is the current method to clip through walls, which is just if you have a frame rate that's high enough, and then you just jump parallel with the polygon on a wall, like the polygons will intersect, and then it'll just let you clip right on through. And with that, I found time saves as big as 30 minutes on some
Oh
levels,
jeez.
because the levels on Metro are just extremely long.
And it's a lot of it is it like what's the word I'm looking for? Like indoor levels a lot? Or
Yeah, a
is kind
lot.
of a mix?
Yeah, like a lot of Metro is indoor levels, at least on the first two games. On the last game, Metro Exodus, you're spending a lot more time outside in pretty
Right.
much every single level. But so there was a time where I found literally a 45-minute skip on Metro Exodus. And literally what you do is you get your foot stuck inside of a movable chair, and then you can jump and kind of like fly around the map using the chair.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And on the last level where you're going through Novosibirsk or whatnot, you go from basically the start of the mission all the way to the last building right before the final car ride. And that's skipping a lot. You're skipping literally 45 minutes of gameplay by doing that. Like you skip, tracking across, the outdoor section, going inside, going through like a ton of auto scroller moments, riding a boat, just so much. Like it's really like as Griffin would say, it saves hours, dude.
Is Metro like a similar game to Halo in that is that like a the thing that like makes you or like used to find skips is like knowledge of the sandbox and knowledge of the game?
Yes, pretty much every single Metro game is using the same base engine. So Metro Exodus is definitely the most unique game, though. But it's fun. I love that series. Like, I got into that game because Metro Last Light and Metro 2033 were once free with games for gold on the Xbox 360.
Dude,
And
I got into so many games like that too.
I don't know if you know this, but Metro Last Light used to be a huge benchmarking game because of how notoriously bad of how hard it is to run. So you
Like,
can imagine
unoptimized.
what the performance was like on an Xbox 360. All right, it was
Yeah.
whew, it was something.
Yeah. Dude.
But I loved the story of it, like even probably even more so than Halo. You know, but like I played the game casually first and I enjoyed it a lot casually. So in a way, like I almost feel bad for breaking the game as much as I did in terms of the speed run. But yeah, no, I think Metro is like the only other game that, you know, I've ever seriously speed ran. And one of the only other games that I play besides Halo, because I wouldn't really consider myself too much of a gamer. I just I stick to the things that I'm comfortable with.
Yeah, I'm similar nowadays, but man, back in the day, games with gold was so goated. Like, if games with gold didn't exist back in the day, I probably like never would have played anything other than like Call of Duty and Halo in my life. Or like that introduced me to like so many other games as well. That was like such a goated thing back in the day.
My partner recently bought me Outer Wilds, which
Okay.
is a game where you go through space and whatnot. And I finished the game for the most part. And I haven't 100%ed it yet though, but there's some speed run strats on that game that are very cool, and there's a lot of there's a really cool potential skip that would save maybe about a minute or so, where there's this one part where you have to go inside of a planet and pick up, you know, an item. I'm trying not to do too many spoilers, but you have to wait. There's this thing you can do in the game where like you lay down and you meditate, and it kind of speeds up the game by like, you know, I think 10 times or whatnot, but you're still waiting for a specific thing to happen that allows you to go inside of the planet. But there's glitches in that game that allow you to go so fast that we theorize it's probably possible to clip inside the planet to pick up that core. And then that would save a decent amount of time. The issue is we have clipping methods, but because of the way that the planet is formed, if you dip down even like 90% of the way all the way into the core, as soon as it detects you there, it'll instantly teleport you out, kind of similar to Halo CE. So you would have to find a way to just be outside the planet on one frame, be at the core, like buffering the input so that you can pick it up as it teleports you out. It's a highly theoretical strat, but I think at one point we'll find a way to do it, and that's going to be very cool.
But is that a speedrun you're like getting into at the moment then?
It's definitely a speedrun that I love watching. It's a very short run. It's like 8 minutes.
Okay.
It's extremely short. But it's a fun game, like casually and speedrun. Like you can use this thing called the scout launcher. Then you just like tie it down to like your scroll wheel, and you just end up shooting the scout launcher. And it has recoil on it, so it just launches you backwards as you're shooting it. So a lot of the game is really just like looking backwards and launching your scout launcher, so you just infinitely gain speed to get to wherever the hell you want to go. And
that sounds really cool.
it's really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Nice. Was there any other topics from chat, by the way?
So there's two more. If you had to erase a Halo game, which one would you pick?
I know you're gonna hate me for this, Chronos, but probably Halo 1, since I haven't really touched it too much.
I guess that one saw that one coming.
I mean,
Why
I guess
haven't you touched Halo 1? Or Chronos, what were you about to say?
Like, I guess it's the most different compared to the rest of the Halos, at least
Yeah.
mechanically. Like, Banshee teleports and like the movement in CE is very different than every other Halo game.
Oh, I apologize. My sister's being loud downstairs.
That's
But
no problem.
So Halo 1 is probably the most skillful Halo game. Where, like, if you're not playing on keyboard and mouse, which in my opinion is objectively the most skillful way to play a video game on the computer, because this is like the mouse and everything. It's just like
What do you
it's
mean
a
by
better,
skillful exactly? Like more precise or like
yes, way more
like
precise.
objectively better? Yeah.
The Banshee teleports, you have to be so precise, like down
Yeah.
to literally sub-pixels, right?
Mm.
But the thing is, like, they're consistent if you know what to do. They're not really that random. Like, sure, you can make an argument that sometimes they can act random, but for the most part, like, they're extremely skill based, and they're on a level of skill base that is, I'd say, beyond the majority of the rest of the Halo franchise's tricks. A lot of the other Halo franchise's tricks are somewhat random at some points, but with Halo 1, it's all based on the inputs that you press, like on keys. You manipulate flood RNG.
I would say like I know exactly what you mean. I wouldn't say random. I would say like unpredictable.
Yes, unpredictable.
Because
Yeah,
like with a box launch, like you can get a feel for box launches, and you can get a similar box launch every single time pretty much. If you like if you play with them for a long time, you'll kind of know roughly like what makes a box launch fast, what makes it slow, or like how to change. But it's not the same as in CE, where it's, oh, for this to work, you look at this pixel, you hold for this amount of frames. Like it's like solved in a different way. Whereas
yeah.
with it, there's some like leniency in the other Halo games generally with tricks.
It's definitely a very different Halo game, but I'm not gonna say never. Like, I'm never gonna go to Halo 1. Like, I know a lot of people are like, man, you should come to Halo 1 and find some new strats for us. Like, man, you got burned, you got Argentina. Like, I think you guys are covered. Like, I am not like I'm not sure that there's anything I would be able to add to Halo 1.
Is it because it's so different? Like you can't
I
use your
wouldn't.
previous knowledge as much?
I'd say maybe it's a combination of that and the fact that Halo 1 runners are a different breed. Like, you guys have like optimized that run so much and found so many strats that I'm really like the sandbox is very different too. Like, there's not as many movable objects, and a lot of things that I find sometimes require movable objects and whatnot. Like, Halo 1 is it's just a different game that I think has been looked at a decent amount by the community compared to I guess the other Halo games that where I've done a lot of my work on. So.
Yeah. The last question I have here is, what is your favorite matchmaking map?
Ooh.
In any Halo game?
Any Halo game.
Any Halo game. That's a tough one. Let's see.
I don't even know what I would say on that.
I mean, I don't play matchmaking, so I actually have no clue.
I could give you my favorite maps from each game, and maybe
all right, let's do that then. Yeah, let's do that then.
All right. Halo 1, probably Wizard.
Is that
Okay.
the one with the like 4 teleporters in the
That's the
side?
one that's like Warlock in Halo 2.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's a good pick, I'd say.
Halo 2, I want to say.
Surely the big super bounce map. What's it called?
Oh, Headlong.
Yeah,
I
Headlong.
would say
Surely.
Terminal.
Oh, really?
Terminal's a good super bouncy map, and it's a good matchmaking map. Headlong is just a good super bouncing map. It's not really that good for actual player on player action, but Terminal is actually pretty decent. Halo 3, I would have to say. Oh boy.
There's a lot of good ones, isn't there?
I know there's so many. Avalanche. Avalanche is very fun. I
Avalanche
love
is so
Avalanche.
bad, bro. No, that's like the worst VTB map.
I love Avalanche.
Oh man, does that have any trick jumps you can do? Surely not. It's like so open.
Nah, there's trick jumps on Avalanche. I don't really use any though.
I like Narrows a lot. I think Narrows is my favorite in Halo 3.
Narrows is pretty good. Sword base on Halo Reach, I think. That's a very good map.
The sword base is pretty good.
And now Halo 4. This is a fun one because I haven't played matchmaking on that game forever. Probably Haven though, actually. I had a lot of fun on Haven.
The classic. Yeah, Haven is like the if you haven't played Halo 4 much, Haven is like the Guardians, the lockout of Halo 4 basically. Like it's like the small map.
Okay, Halo 5.
I have like played a Halo 5 matchmaking like once, by the way.
What's the Halo 5 map where it's like it's based off of the ending of evacuation?
I have no. I've never played it, man. I have no clue. I played like two maps in Halo 5.
I forgot the name of it, but it's very similar to the ending area of evacuation in regards to everything. And then Halo Infinite. Is there even a map to like? Oh god, that Halo Infinite, man, that 343 handled that like so poorly.
Yeah,
it really sucks because
how long has it been now?
It's been over a year,
like a year and a half, or something.
Yeah, it really sucks, but hopefully we'll get another Halo game out of it. If Microsoft polls or anything to go by, because they're asking people, would you stay with Halo Infinite or do you just want a new Halo game? So I think Halo Infinite, I think it was DOA, unfortunately, because it's very clear that with that game there's so much turmoil in terms of what's going on at the studio, how the engine was built, how long the engine took to build, too much time was spent on the foundation and not enough time was spent on everything else besides the very extremely basic foundation that Halo Infinite has, to the point where it's like even the campaign, right? Like the story. I feel like the story probably didn't end in a good spot. Like it felt like the story was just starting to get good like by the time that you're on the silent auditorium.
Yeah, or like the level design. I mean, it's basically every part of the game basically plays the exact same. It's like the outside parts and the within level parts. It's all just like corridors you're going through, and the outside parts it's all it all looks the same and all plays
Yeah,
very
it's
similarly.
like playing Two Betrayals hallways in CE, for instance, for the entire game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Such a shame, but hopefully another Halo game comes out that's actually one that's a little bit better managed, and hopefully one where they actually allow speedrun tricks to stay rather than watch the speedrun and literally say, "Oh, we're patching that."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us have stuff to say about that, but yeah.
And I mean, we have, or you have on the podcast already, right?
Yeah, we discussed it in the past.
Yeah. I will say though, it was really fun for like the first couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Finding all the, or like the route being developed. I mean, it went through like three. Was it three? Because it was
3 or 4 different routes, because
Yeah.
then the first one was
First one was basically the casual round. Let's just go through every mission basically. I don't think was there a sequence break right from the beginning? I don't think so.
no. And then the first big skip was, I guess like the first road skip where
Yeah.
where
Road
you would
skip
get the
without the pelican,
Banshee.
right?
Yeah, with the
Yeah.
Banshee, where you would
Yeah.
jump across the island after getting the invincibility. And then there was the Pelican route,
Yeah.
and then there was the lunge warps.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Banshee route is the one I did speedruns of for a day or two.
I think Pelican route
Pelican
was
route was the
probably the
best.
best route.
Lunge warping like kind of killed it because it was like it took out so much of the run. I think that it literally ended up being like 25 minutes.
Yeah, it was cool from a technical standpoint of, just, like, I can't believe that we figured out this lunge warping stuff so early on in the game,
Yeah.
like less than 2 weeks after the game launched, and we were already like the game was already like almost sub 30.
One pretty huge thing was actually, I forget what the level's called. What's the level called with the two big wave fights? That's like the second to last level.
Oh, a House of Reckoning.
House of Reckoning.
Yeah, House of Reckoning went through like a lot of changes. Like first, we thought you had to like do the fights. I think like we thought it was like required, and then found some out of bounds stuff. We could skip the fight. We could skip like one of the fights with like a coil launch,
coil,
but then
clipping through the door.
Yeah,
it was bad. That was, oh boy, that was
yeah.
not
All
fun.
the coil clips was an interesting era. There was a few days where people were just like going like launching into walls for hours on end.
I'm so glad coil pinches became a thing. That
Yeah.
that made everything a lot better.
But yeah, and then eventually now basically the entire level got skipped, and then even the wave fight is skipped now, which is wild. Or not the wave fight, sorry, the end fight. Yeah, the boss fight. Yeah, that skip just looks so weird. A lot of the tricks in Infinite just looks super weird. It's like
it's
the
a
launch
lot of
warps
loading,
even.
like
Yeah, launch warps even.
shenanigans.
You just disappear in the ghost, and then you quit the menu and go back, and suddenly you're at the end of the game, or like you teleport across the map.
Yeah, it definitely is like very different than most other Halo speedruns.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's like as different to the other games as CE is to the other games, I would say.
Yeah.
Maybe even more different just because of like how the game is structured, it being open world and non-linear.
Definitely a factor is the open worldness.
Are you a fan of that, Harc? Do you like, or do you? Because
I like the concept of an open world. I think it could have been done better.
Yeah. I think that's the general consensus.
Yeah. I'm maybe a hot take, but I wish it was an open world. I think I should have stuck to linear. I feel like that's part of what makes Halo Halo.
Yeah.
And it's also probably one of the reasons why the story fell flat for me is because we spent too much time in one place. Whereas in all the other Halo games, you would travel to different planets, different worlds. Like it was like everything, every other level was like brand new. It's like, oh my god, this is a brand new environment. I love this so much.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I love this environment even more. Whereas with Halo Infinite, it's just like, oh, more grass,
Yeah,
more
I think we can
structured the same.
we can also see in chat, like people were saying the first two missions are nice. That's because the first two felt like the standard Halo concept with the missions being like in order. They had some sort of linear C
And
to it.
they had some uniqueness to them.
Yeah, and then right when you go outside, that's when like it started becoming non-linear, and like you could do whatever, but that kind of fell flat, I think, just because of its structure.
Yep.
Any other thoughts on Infinite, Harc?
Performance on it is terrible.
True.
Not as bad as Halo 2 Anniversary though.
Yeah. Lots of issues with MCC. I think I discussed it before, but apparently like Halo 2 MCC doesn't work well for Harc.
Yeah, performance on MCC in general, I feel like has gone down a lot since release on PC.
I actually solved a little bit of the issues I was having with H2A, so it's slightly more playable now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I did to fix it?
What?
I updated my GPU's VBIOS, which I didn't even know was a thing until like a couple of weeks ago. It's a BIOS for your GPU. That's separate from the regular BIOS.
Very interesting.
And that allowed me to turn on resizable bar, which I think maybe that's what helped the most.
Interesting. Yeah, I think when Halo 3 came out on PC, I was getting like twice the frame rate on average that I get like on the current patch. It's pretty wild how much it's gone down.
I'm actually planning to get a new PC here soon as well. Like right now, I have a 5600X and an RTX 3080, but I think I'm gonna probably, like, because of how much I stream and whatnot, like I need to make sure that my system can handle like running Halo 4 like 240 hertz, which is my monitor's refresh rate. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna get the 7950X and probably an RTX 4090.
Oh my god.
Your hardware is like way better than mine already right now. So
I can't believe you're upgrading from a 3080.
It's insane.
Just to play Halo.
Just to play Halo at 1080p, dude.
Yeah.
Let's go. Nah, I'll probably get a 1440p monitor again.
Jesus.
Like, I mean, I'm getting the money for it and whatnot, so I mean, I think I'm gonna go ahead and do that because I don't know. I was looking at all the performance for it and like, dude, like you can run Halo 4 at 8K at 144 FPS with the 4090. Like, oh my god, dude, that's insane.
Are you gonna be running at 8K?
Probably not. Like I said, I'm probably only gonna. I think I will get a 1440p monitor though, to complement what I got right now, but definitely 240 hertz because I don't even think I can go back to 144 hertz now. The 240 hertz is so good.
Really?
Yeah.
I've been on 144 for a while.
Yeah, there's a pretty big difference. But yeah, I think I'm gonna be upgrading soon after I move, which I don't know if you know, but I'm in the process of moving right now. And I think we plan to be out of this house like in like less than 2 weeks. So pretty.
No Halo for a while, baby. Your records are safe for now, guys.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think that's probably it for today, unless we have any last questions or comments or anything.
Anything you didn't get to say, Harc, that you were like thinking about?
I think everything got covered for the most part.
Cool. Yeah, I think good to wrap it up then.
Yeah. So once again, thank you everyone for tuning in to the 4th episode of the HaloRuns podcast. We'll see what happens next week. I still haven't planned anything out. Maybe we'll have a game event for next week because I think it's probably a good time for it. So hopefully we could do something for that. And yeah, hopefully all of you enjoyed. I'll be uploading this to YouTube tomorrow. And yeah, sounds good. Let me go see if there's anyone we can host.
Yeah, thank you everyone for watching, listening.
Yeah.
A runner to next, maybe. Maybe that'll be a Dubzo episode.
Oh, it could have been perfect for today, April 1st, April Fool's Day, by the way.
Sure.
Mono is online, I think. I don't see any other Halo runs people, so I guess we could just host Mono then.
And Mono's been running a lot of Halo 2 Classic full game lately.
Yep.
All right.
So yeah, thank you once again for tuning in, and yeah, have fun raiding Monopoly here.
Yeah, and thank you, Harc, for being on the podcast guest.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.